Players event in New York and talked about how now is the time for the WNBA to make things right and strike a deal with the players.
Right now, we're in a system that, if you look at it, it's not tied to the business, and so it's designed to undervalue them. As the business grows, they start to fall behind, and we've got to right that ship.
A system that reflects the rapidly growing TV ratings, attendance, and merchandise sales numbers would help get women basketball players salaries that are more competitive with their NBA counterparts. The WNBA has historically featured a large portion of women of color. I'm Bloomberg's Justin Milliner on the Black Business Beat.
With Fidelity Wealth Management, a dedicated advisor gets to know you and your goals to build a comprehensive plan to help grow and protect your wealth. Backed by a team of specialists, they'll analyze all your accounts, even the ones they don't manage, to keep an eye on taxes and provide proactive portfolio insights that can help you unlock your wealth's full potential. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC. Member NYSE SIPC.
It's Pro Savings Days at Lowe's. Get up to 35% off select major appliances and save an additional $1,000 when you buy 4 select LG major appliances. Plus, get a free DeWalt 20-volt max 5 amp-hour battery when you buy a select DeWalt 20-volt max tool. Get the job done for less at Lowe's. We help. You save. Valid through 9/26. Selection varies by location while supplies last. See associate or Lowe's.com for more details and qualifying items.
He steps to the mic with a boom, ping, ping. Wisdom sharper than a beast's fierce sting. Words like fireflies that light the night. He turns the dark into blazing bright. Boom, ping, ping, the truth takes wing. Milwaukee's voice, let the city sing. Boom, ping, ping, hear the freedom ring. Sherwin's the king, oh, the airwaves king. Shake the ground, unveils the truth where lies abound. Politics, justice, social streams. He molds the chaos into dreams. No silence here, just the sound of change. Boom, ping, ping, rearrange. Boom, ping, ping, the truth takes wing. Milwaukee's voice, let the city sing. Boom, ping, ping, hear the freedom ring. Sherwin's the king, or the airwaves king. Through the static, through the noise, he amplifies the people's voice. Boom, ping, ping. Like a heartbeat's call, he's got the wisdom to break down walls. Yeah.
Welcome to the program. Today is Monday, September 22nd, 2025. I got me a straggler in the studio. Let me not say that. Hi, Denise.
That's how you say.
Nope. I'm apologizing to you. I shouldn't have said that. And thank you for picking up the slack and filling in for me when I was away. I really appreciate that.
You're so welcome. I'm just glad that you're back. You scared the mess out of me, Sherwin.
I'm all right. Don't worry about it.
I'm not worried. Okay, first let me just say this. And I said this when I guest co-hosted your show. I said, because first of all, you already know this, but your fans, your followers are so committed to you, Sherwin.
Some of them is mean,
That's
too.
okay.
There's okay.
You need that. You need some meanness. But everybody was so concerned about you. And I was like, look, let me just say this one thing I know about Sherwin. He's extremely private. He's extremely private. You're not going to know too much about Sherwin. That's why when that random person it's not funny, to your house and you were so mad. I was like, Sherwin, you're a public figure. But I get it. You're also private. But when I found out, because I got a phone call. Mm-hmm. Because remember how you told the story about what happened the day? Mm-hmm. Well, can I tell you what my version of that was?
Please do.
I was in Las Vegas.
Of course you were.
Waiting on you.
You gonna make me die again in the studio, Denise. Go on with the story.
I'm in Las Vegas, and when I tell you this is how it went down, I'm not exaggerating.
Okay.
I'm walking literally on the strip, and I get a phone call. I'm not going to say who gave me the phone call. You know who called me, but I don't need to say that on the air. It was a very high-up person here at GKB.
Okay.
And I get a phone call, and I'm like, why is this person calling me? Not that I didn't... I was just like, but I know it was going to be something on the other end of this phone was going to be a big deal for this person to be calling me on a Friday. They called me. It was a Friday, and it was about Las Vegas time. I'd say about 11:15 a.m.
Okay.
And, we're 2 hours behind Milwaukee, or Las Vegas is. And so the person says immediately, there was an incident today on Sherwin's show. And he had to be transported to the emergency room. And I'm like, I literally stopped. And if you're on the strip, there's people.
Oh, yeah.
It's hot. And I was like, what? I was like, wait a minute, time out. I'm not going to repeat what I said to this person because what I said included some explicit words.
Why would you use explicit words in talking to them?
Well, number one, you know how I am.
Oh, yeah, I do. Yeah.
And number two, I was immediately upset because I was like, Sherwin, as much as you and I fight, argue, debate, make up, all this stuff, I was like, if something happens to Sherwin, that's going to be a disruption to my life. Like, that would be a loss for me. Sometimes when people pass on, you know what I'm saying? Like, but that
I would really hate to be a disruption to your life, Denise.
Yeah, that would have been a disruption.
Yeah, I'm a temporary one.
And I don't deal well with grief.
Oh, okay.
And so I immediately, this person,
Did they make it seem like I was dead? I didn't die.
It wasn't, at that point, literally, you had...
Well, they didn't know.
Yeah, so, and then, of course, I'm asking questions. This person was very professional and respectful, and they were like, I can't get into all that. I said, don't worry about it, because I wasn't going to call you for obvious reasons.
But hell, you could have. People showed up at the damn hospital.
Well, I was in Vegas waiting on you.
I know you.
So I text you, and when you responded, that's all I needed. But do not let that happen again, Sherwin, because I literally was like, when certain things happen, you take people's existence for granted. And in that moment, I was like, if something were to happen to Sherwin, that would be a literal loss for me. Like, I would feel some type of way.
And my family, too. And probably, but for you, I know it would be a horrendous loss because you think you got a bunch of unfinished business with me. So I understand that.
So now it's a me thing?
But to allay any fears about my health, people kept asking, because there's some people I have not seen since prior to the incident. So I'm still running into folks that are asking me how I'm doing. So to just let everybody know that I am back to 100%, if not better than 100%. Last week in the studio, I twerked.
You look great.
Thank you.
And I'm getting good energy.
Thank you.
And I also have to acknowledge Ricky, because I'm telling you right now, if that would have been me, because the whole, like, when you talked about it on air in terms of, like, the chronological order, like, this happened, I can't imagine being the producer and looking up and seeing you pretty much out of it, like unconscious, gone, and then still having to sustain the integrity of the show in terms of protecting what's happening. There was a lot. So shout out to Ricky for that, too.
Ricky was unfazed. He was like, hey, man, N-words die every day.
Well,
this ain't nothing for me, B. He's like, ain't nothing. He's like, here, drink this water, dog. Stay with me, man.
I actually text Sherwin. I said, hey, I'm a real gangster. Next time, don't down me.
I know that's right. That's what Ike said to Tina. Don't you die on me, anime. Don't you die, I'll kill you. But listen.
How did I become anime in all this?
And then secondly, I thought, man, if something were to happen to Sherwin, how would that impact the community? I thought about that, like from a leadership, impact, advocacy standpoint. My mind just started going places. And then I went into baby mama mode. Okay. And I was like, I cannot wait to see Sherwin, because I am going to kick his, and we are going to do boom, boom, boom. So, yeah, you and I have a conversation that will be off air. But just know I'm here till Thursday.
Okay, I know you are. All right. Well, thank you, Denise, for your concern, your well wishes, and reaching out. It was a momentary setback, and also let it be a cautionary tale that none of us are as young as we used to be, and there are things in our health that we sometimes ignore because the inconvenience of having to take time away and change our schedules to go to get the necessary medical help. Either you do that and prioritize getting medical help, or your body will shut down. And I learned that lesson, that I am not immortal, I am not invincible, and I will say this moving forward. If I feel slightly unwell, I am not coming to this motherfather. Stop. Denise, you better be ready to fill in.
I will.
So I didn't listen to my shows while I was recuperating, just because, I don't want to say that I didn't care, but I wanted to separate myself as much as I possibly could from any professional duties and just focus on my recuperation. But there was one particular morning where I tuned in, and I have no idea who's filling in for me because they don't tell me, nor am I asking. And you were filling in for me, and I saw you on YouTube, and I hit play, and you were just like, and as a black woman, I was like, this is perfect for my show. And I felt at ease because you felt comfortable being yourself, and I just turned it off. So that entire week, I think that was the most I listened to any of my feelings.
I thought it was
was you being a black woman on my show and letting folks know it ain't always no walk in the park being a black woman. I was like, you tell them, Denise. And then I rolled over in my hospital bed with my ass hanging out and went to sleep. So that's how
that's an image.
It is. There's a lot of ass hanging out that week. A lot of ass. I didn't even try to hide it.
Sherwin's back, y'all.
I'm not hiding nothing.
Well, listen, we've got some news that we're going to share tomorrow because we're auditioning something. Listen, Truth Nation, you have spoken.
Can't keep a secret for nothing.
I didn't say it yet. I just said we have some news. I didn't say what the secret was.
All right.
Truth Nation, you have listened, or you have spoken and we have listened. So I'm going to speak with Sherwin sometime between now and tomorrow. Okay. But we're going to coordinate how we're going to deliver this announcement about us.
Hold on now. You're going to have people thinking there's some...
Let them think. That's what drives rate. Oh, my God. I'm marketing.
Hold on now.
You're killing my strategy here. This is a marketing...
Now you got me confused about what the announcement might be. I thought, are we getting married? Are you pregnant?
Oh, my God.
Hold on. I just got out the hospital. How is you pregnant already? Whose is it? You was in Vegas. Oh, okay. So I
just
see what
like... You going to do the typical, it ain't mine?
I don't know. You was out there in Vegas.
That's what you...
gallivanting around.
Because I was in Vegas, it's not yours now? Boy. So, Truth Nation, tune in tomorrow. We'll have a special announcement about the status of our relationship.
Sherwin, you are not the father.
You would be winning if you were.
You'd be winning.
You'd be winning if you were.
I'd be such a good baby daddy. I'd be so...
And I'm glad you understand the rules of engagement, because that's exactly what you would be. Because I still need to move around.
You're signing a prenup.
We did that already. So
okay.
You're giving away too much.
Well, Denise, thank you for staying here and hanging out for a little while. I actually am going to be talking about...
That's when you know you're going to get kicked out, Ricky.
No.
You know how you women, when the next morning you're like, so what you about to do?
Actually,
that's what Sherwin just did to me.
I have like a
what you got going on today?
You do this thing where you stand up and you kind of tap your palms on your legs. You're like, well...
Right.
Oh, I guess I gotta go on and get on out of here. I gotta go to work. But Sherwin, it's Saturday. Yeah, I gotta go on down to Good Karma Brands and yeah.
You know how many females right now are like, he said that to me.
Yeah. Well, what you finna do? You finna go somewhere? You need a ride somewhere? You mean to call your Uber?
When he comes in and says, what you about to do? That is your indirect invitation to exit the premises.
Well, then don't make me have to say it. I already have something else to do when it's morning time. You know what I mean?
I will see you tomorrow.
You will.
And I will speak with you later, because the people got to give the people what they want. And the people want us, Sherwin. They want us to be together. So we have to give them what they want.
Linda going to want to fight you.
Linda, we could share.
Yeah, right. I know you. The truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com. Need a way to hype up your day?
Hey, is this Carolyn?
It is.
Congratulations, Carolyn. You just won this
Congratulations. Woo!
God is good all the time.
What would you do with $5,000?
I'm going to buy my nieces some school clothes because my nephew just passed away.
Aww.
So I'm going to get them some clothes.
Stay tuned into 101.7 The Truth for your chance to be entered into the Gruber Law Office's 5K giveaway. For contest rules, visit 101.7thetruth.com.
Celebrate the reigning queens of disco with Disco Divas, running at the Bradley Symphony Center September 26th through the 28th. Principal Pops conductor Byron Stripling will lead the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra and an all-star trio of vocalists in all of your favorite hits from the disco era. Think Donna Summer, Patti LaBelle, Diana Ross, and Chaka Khan, as well as the Bee Gees, Earth, Wind and Fire, and even Michael Jackson. Those silky high strings and thumping bass lines will never sound better as you dance and sing along in your seat to tunes like I Will Survive, We Are Family, I'm Coming Out, and more. So what are you waiting for? Get those sequins out of storage and call the box office now at 414-291-7605 for Disco Divas or visit mso.org.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com.
How nice of Denise to give us some of her time and stop by. We are going to unveil something on tomorrow's show. I know a lot of you are guessing, a lot of you are speculating. You're just going to have to tune in tomorrow. I didn't know that she and I were going to unveil anything until she told me this morning about this new thing that she and I are going to do together. So who am I to argue with Denise or debate with her? So tomorrow we're going to tell you what we have planned. So I'm actually looking forward to it, and I think that you all will get some enjoyment out of it. I have been combing the headlines, as I'm sure some of you do as well, because you're all very informed people, and we appreciate that about you. A lot of the headlines have been dedicated to what I'm going to call a MAGA state funeral yesterday. The who's who of the Republican Party, including most of the leadership of the United States of America, all gathered under one roof to commemorate the life and the legacy of Charlie Kirk. I don't need to get into my personal and or specific plus my political feelings about Charlie Kirk because I think that is irrelevant. Most of you can probably guess that I am not in the business of praising those who are not helpful and who do not recognize what those of us of African descent have gone through or continue to go through in this country. He can have his opinions, absolutely. He can have his thoughts, and those like him can have their thoughts, because I certainly have mine. But I am not one to shower praise nor martyr him because of his use of freedom of speech. Let me tell you why. Because when I use and apply my freedom of speech like he did with my thoughts and my opinions and my sentiments, I might get canceled. So even in a constitutional preservative right like freedom of speech, white folks still have more of it than me. So that's all I'm going to say about him. I want to get to what I think are very important issues for the rest of us, because what the Trump administration is doing, and I want people to be able to decipher the code. I learned how to decipher the code, whether it be through my years of working in public service and working for elected officials and a member of Congress. You tell the American people just the Cliff Notes version of what is happening policy-wise or politically. You don't always tell the American people all of the details because we may not understand it, because in government, the statistics and the facts and the data that they have, most Americans are not privy to, right? So if an elected official that is working on a piece of policy that he or she believes is going to help people, they're not going to divulge everything because they can't, because there's a lot of details that it would just take too long to share with the American people. So you give the American people a Cliff Notes version. But then also there's political speak, which is almost like an entirely different language. So, if you work at a job, there might be like terms and jargon specific to that job that only apply to that particular job, that profession, that vocation, et cetera, right? Like teachers may refer to their lesson plans as whatchamacallits and widgets, but they use this jargon that is specific to the profession. A welder might call his torch his good buddy, whatever the case may be. Different jobs and different professions have different jargon. Well, politics does too. And you have to learn how to decode and speak this language. You almost have to be bilingual if you really want to understand policy. And so I learned a lot of this from Barack Obama because he had to speak in code, because there were things that he wanted to do to help the people that were expecting his help as a black president, but he couldn't just come out and say it. Barack Obama could never say, yeah, I want to have affordable health insurance because black people are dying from preventable diseases and our comorbidities make us easy targets for insurance companies. He couldn't say all of that. He just had a program where everyone who qualified could get more affordable health care with no lifetime maximums, et cetera, et cetera. So I learned to read between the lines. Well, every president does it. They all have their own jargon. Trump has his jargon too. His is a little bit more crass and a little bit more overbearing and overwhelming. What this administration is doing, and Charlie Kirk's death and his martyrdom and his funeral is a part of it. You just continue to just flood the American people with all sorts of stuff. And then you need somebody like Pam Bondi leading the Department of Justice. Then you need a lightning rod firebrand conspiracy theorist like Bobby Kennedy. I still don't know how this man got confirmed. There were actual doctors, Republican doctors in the U.S. Senate that fundamentally disagree with Bobby Kennedy's stance on science, and they still confirmed him anyway. But Bobby Kennedy is a part of an overall strategy to just sow so much confusion, to push back on things that America's never even had to think about before, things we never had to worry about. Now we got to question everything. They just came out with something today, and here's what's crazy. At Charlie Kirk's funeral, Trump even made it about himself. He used it as like a campaign rally. He was like, oh, this is what he said yesterday. He said, oh, tomorrow we're going to unveil a big medical breakthrough. Like, you're at a funeral of someone who you considered a friend. Someone, Mr. President, that you told the nation to fly flags at half-staff for, but you're going to take that moment on that podium in front of that microphone. When you're president of the United States, you can get a microphone on a podium any other day of the week. But he decided to use the funeral to make a political announcement. You know what the announcement was? They are now saying that Tylenol causes autism. Unequivocally, categorically, scientifically, statistically, factually, completely and totally false. But again, this is a part of what the administration is doing. Just throw a bunch of crap at the American people so we don't know which way is loose. We don't know what to pay attention to. We don't know what to think anymore. They're even changing the vaccine schedule for children. I really want to talk about that, because the things that we're going to discuss today is us needing to read between the lines of what this administration is actually doing. They're going to flood the zone with so much stuff, and they're going to have so many people confused going into the midterm elections of 2026. And when you're confused about stuff, you don't know what the Democrats are about. You don't trust the Democrats. You don't know what the Republicans are going to do. You know what's going to happen? Most people are just going to sit it out. And it's easy to sit out a midterm election because that's lower voter turnout naturally anyway. And when people are confused and they don't know what's going on, and Trump is going to bash the Democrats and call the Democratic Party a terrorist organization, you know what a lot of people are going to do? They're just going to be apathetic and not vote, which benefits the incumbency. It is only when voter turnout is high do incumbents lose to challengers? Right now, the incumbents are Republicans in the U.S. Senate, in the House of Representatives, and, of course, the presidency. Only if voter turnout is exceedingly high do Democrats have any kind of a fighting chance of getting elected, getting the majority, and bringing some kind of a check to Donald Trump and his administration. But if people are constantly confused and don't know what's going on, and now the Tylenol causes the autism and they're changing the vaccination schedule for children, I really want to talk about that, because there's something, again, in reading between the lines, everything that they are saying, including the science that they are relying on that really isn't real science, is a part of a strategy that, if it wasn't so evil, I would call it brilliant. Because in a nation that is already so divided, like, most people look through a lens of red or blue, of urban or rural, of highly educated and not very highly educated. You know, people that work in white-collar professions versus blue-collar professions, people that represent management, people that represent labor. Like, we all have these different divisions. Our religion, our country of origin, right, our immigration status. So when you have a nation that is divided and fractured on so many different lines, sowing confusion amongst divided people is really, really easy. Unfortunately, it's also low-hanging fruit, and it's lazy politically. To play on natural divisions so that you can ultimately accomplish and implement your political will is, well, it's shameful. And to me, like, that's the most un-American thing that you can possibly do. That, and using the platform of a funeral to make political statements. It's so beneath even our worst impulses as Americans. So I'm gonna take a break. When we come back, looks like we have Allan on the line. For those of you that weren't listening on Friday, Allan Beckman, who is a frequent caller of this show, in fact, Allan has been calling me since my days at WNOV. Well, he is involved in a recall election where he is heading up a recall of the alderwoman Andrea Pratt of the 1st District, because there are some, let's just say, some disagreements between some developers in the area of the 1st District, and Allan believes, I'll let him explain it to you, but also the alderwoman was listening to the show on Friday and heard in real time her political opposition collecting petition signatures to remove her from office, right? So she and I had a conversation on Friday, and we have Allan. He's on line 1. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to come back. We're going to talk to Allan, because I have a feeling he's going to call us every day and give us updates and progress on his recall. Now, let me also say this. I'm a supporter of Andrea Pratt. I support her. I've been supporters of her entire family for my entire adult life. So that's where I am on that. But let me also say this. I don't live in the 1st District. So my influence on the sentiment of 1st District voters is pretty much non-existent, because all politics are local. So that being said, going to take a break, going to come back, and we're going to, I guess, hear from Allan as he gives us progress on the recall. And the reason why I think this is important, it's not about picking a side whether you think that the alderwoman should be recalled or not. This is democracy in action. And sometimes it's ugly, and sometimes it's things that we don't like. But in days and times of our bits and pieces of our democracy are being eroded away by the administration in Washington, this kind of democracy is still very valuable. So even though I personally don't agree with this recall, it is still a healthy, functioning part of our democracy that I still support. So I want to take a break, come back, let Allan yell into the phone, and see where he's at on the recall. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. Will be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Hi, I'm Brittany Miller from Big Frog Custom T-Shirts and more. Custom T-shirts, sweatshirts, jackets, hats, you name it, we can do it. Big Frog Custom T-Shirts and more is family-owned and all about celebrating life's big moments. Maybe it's a milestone birthday, a celebration for your child's first goal, or that work fundraising event. We are everyone's printer. No minimum orders, affordable designs, and help straight from me and our team. We're the one-stop shop for all your custom needs. Start your project today at bigfrog.com/Mequon.
Are you looking for ways to give back to your local community? Use volunteerwisconsin.org to find opportunities to volunteer your time with organizations making a difference near you. As we celebrate United Ways Month, we're also celebrating you. Visit volunteerwisconsin.org or get in touch with your local United Way or Volunteer Center to find out more about local opportunities to get involved. Volunteerwisconsin.org is hosted by United Way of Wisconsin and Serve Wisconsin. Paid for by United Way of Wisconsin.
It's time for Truth Takes, a thought-provoking commentary on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. Here is Sherwin Hughes with his truth.
You ever notice how the phrase 9 to 5 sounds just so old school? That's because in 2025, the 9 to 5 is as outdated as a rotary phone. Let's be real. The world has changed, and the way we work has changed with it. The gig economy is booming. Folks are making money on their own terms, driving Ubers, delivering DoorDash, freelancing, and side hustling their way to the bag. And then there's the work-from-home revolution. People are clocking in from their kitchen tables, their favorite coffee shops, or even the beach. Laptops open, pajamas on, productivity up. The virtual office is now the new corner office, and the only commute is from the bed to the desk. Let's not forget about the digital nomads, those bold souls who turn the world into their workplace. They're sending emails from Bali, closing deals in Barcelona, and living life on their own schedule. No time clock, no cubicle, just Wi-Fi and a dream. And 21st century entrepreneurship, well, it's a whole new game. You can launch a business from your phone, build a brand on Instagram, and make more in a week than some folks do in a month without even punching a clock. So who's still working that old 9 to 5 job? People who are resistant to change or maybe just can't adapt. The future belongs to the flexible, the creative, the hustlers who know how to make technology work for them. The 9 to 5, well, that's a museum piece. The real action is happening outside the box, where freedom and opportunity are just a click away.
This has been Truth Takes on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. Listen to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes weekdays from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Fitting music to talk to. Allan, you're on 1017 The Truth. Let me guess, you're out collecting signatures?
No, right now I'm actually listening to my dog had our little baby Goo, Layla had something happen to her leg the other day. I'm going out to get her a cone, right? So she stops licking. I gotta do that, and then I gotta get my wife a couple things for. I'm over here in Brown Deer at the Aldi's. I was just waiting to go in. Yeah, let me say something here. I like Miss Pratt, okay? Miss Pratt has been to our home. Miss Pratt, I voted for Miss Pratt. I went out and I canvassed for Miss Pratt. I didn't have to. I did it because I liked her, and I believe she knows what's going on here. I mean, she came to my home. How I met Miss Pratt was after the election. Miss Pratt came to our home. The doorbell rang, and I answered the door, and I knew who it was, but I wasn't quite sure. And she said, "Hey," I said, "How are you?" She introduced herself and said, "I said, okay, let's talk." So we sat and we talked, and we talked about this thing, about this issue. At the time, I still do got an open. I have an open ethics complaint regarding then our sitting aldermen and these developers, which has never been heard. I've been scheduled for hearings. They've blown me off. One time they blew me off. Second time they couldn't reach a quorum.
Allan, let's give some context. When did you first have an issue?
I'm giving you the context.
Allan, you're giving it from your perspective. People don't know what the hell you're talking about. I've got to be mindful of an audience that does not know. Hold on. I have a question. If you can't answer, we're going to terminate the phone call. It's up to you. You going to let me ask the question?
What's the question?
When did you first raise issue with the developers? What year was that, or how many years ago was it?
2019.
So 6 years ago, so prior to the current alderwoman's term. That is very important information.
It is very important.
And
It's
all
very
of the
important.
approvals and all of the zoning, all of that stuff was in place and cemented prior to her taking office.
No.
That is correct.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. The problem is this. The problem is this. There has been, from day one, from 2019, these guys did not show up for the original zoning hearing. It has taken me this amount of time. Last week, I spoke to, I'm calling them angels. Not her person, who I like too, by the way, but angels like from heaven who have called me and spoke to me. One person said they don't care if I need to, I'm going to use their name. But they told me that I've been right about this the whole time, that when they did not show up for that hearing back in 2019, this entire project should have had to go back to the entire process. This whole thing involves due process, and it's still going on, due process. Lack of, and the only way that I can get the attention, or we can get the attention of anybody, is by doing this. The only person who would do this, or even might have thought of doing this, is me. And before I did it, I walked around and I spoke to people in my area. Now,
all right. What do you, Allen? You don't have an unlimited amount of time. So, what do you expect to accomplish by forcing a recall election of Alderwoman Andrea Pratt?
What I hope to do, and it's already been done, I want to have people realize that what these developers are doing and how they're doing it. This is not being made up by me. It's not in my backyard.
All right, so before you go on, Allen, and you did make it clear that you voted for the alderperson, she's been to your house, etc. Why are you not calling out and naming the deeds of the developers? Why are you going after a single elected official who she came into office with a lot of this stuff already on track?
Exactly.
So why aren't you mentioning who the developers are? Why are you keeping them a secret? But it seems like you have the issue with them.
Because I cannot get out. If you have a system that's based on it's an adversarial system, right? Our court system.
Please, let's not get into the weeds here. If you have an issue with how the developers have been handling, no, you're not. You're talking to yourself. If you have an issue with the developers and their process, then who are the developers? Who are they? What's the name of the company? What's the corporation? Maybe people might.
Who they are is a group called Selzner Orange. What they do is they created an LLC called Wisconsin Redevelopment. So they put up none of their own money. They put up nothing to do this. In front of them, they had another group of two black women called Anderson Webb Development. What these people do, these two women, what they do is they come into a community and they try to soft soap the community because they look like.
Allen, in your conversations with your neighbors, have you pointed out these developers or the people that you're getting signatures from? Do they know the details?
Yeah, everybody knows the details.
How many signatures do you need?
20. I think it's 2,647. Am I going to get all these signatures?
No,
probably not.
No, you're not.
The point is, here's the reason why. Because I'm married, and I got a wife who she'll tell me to go do this, and then she doesn't realize the amount of work that it takes. Okay.
Hang on a second. You were recalling Alderwoman Andrea Pratt, and you think it's not going to be successful because you're doing it because your wife told you to do it, and that's.
She's doing it. I'm doing it because I believe it's the only way I could get attention of certain people, and.
So if your wife told you to stop doing it and to come home every night for dinner instead of getting signatures, who would you listen to? You would listen to your drive to recall the alderwoman, or would you listen to your wife? That's a tough one.
I have to listen to my wife.
All right, then the recall's over. So he's wasting everybody's time. The damage that he is ultimately going to do to himself and to his reputation by going through this fool's errand. It's going to be a learning experience for him and for everybody else. But here's the thing. Legally, he has the right to do it. But do you see when I pointed out who he should have an issue with? He's kept the name of the developer and the process that he disagreed with secret and silent. And he thinks to get to the means to an end is to force a recall election of the alderwoman, and here's why that's also a fool's errand. It's all legal and legitimate if he follows all of the rules and files the paperwork, et cetera, but he doesn't even have an opponent. So what the recall does, it just puts another election on the calendar. That's all it does. It does not create a candidate. It does not fund a candidate. And if you force an election and there's no candidate, the alderwoman is going to win. She's going to walk right back into office. But also, here's what he is doing for her. When you are being recalled as an elected official, you get to break all campaign finance rules, meaning the alderwoman can raise unlimited money for an unlimited amount of time from sources from all over the damn planet because Scott Walker opened up those rules. So just be aware of this. And I want people to be fully versed in this because you may have an issue with your current elected official, and you may find enough neighbors or community members, business owners, and stakeholders to want to remove somebody from office. When you do that and you file the necessary paperwork and you get all the petitions together and you go down to the election commission, once that paperwork has been approved to allow you to start collecting signatures, and you're going to need 25% of the most recent gubernatorial vote. So whatever number of people voted in the most recent gubernatorial election, which would have been 2022, 25% of that number is how many signatures that you will need. And so once the recall is allowed to proceed, now remember, it only creates an election date, right? Your opponent or the person you're trying to recall can raise unlimited money. Meaning, and I'm not saying that the alderwoman is going to do this, but these very developers that Allan and clearly at least some of his neighbors have an issue with can totally fund Alderwoman Pratt's recall campaign to whatever dollar amount they see fit. So will it ultimately become a fool's errand? Yes, but I want people to learn from this because I know folks throw around recall all the time. Oh, I don't like so-and-so, I'm going to recall them. And they have no idea what it entails. There was an attempted recall of a governor. 20 years ago, there was a recall, some successful, of many county board supervisors. There was a recall of former Alderman Mike McGee, which forced an election while he was in jail. Do y'all remember this? When Mike McGee Jr., he was incarcerated. He was being held prior to his court hearing. If he was forced, there was a forced recall election. The election was able to go through. He won from jail. They have a really low likelihood of success. And so what I say to folks is if you want to make a political statement, make sure you maximize the sentiment of those that agree with you at the next scheduled election, instead of trying to force a recall, because like 98% of the time, not only are recalls going to fail, it is going to empower and embolden. Like you're giving more authority, latitude, and power, and certainly more financial prowess to the person that you were trying to recall. And sometimes it's not worth it. Because if you're really angry with an elected official, your best bet is to realize that elections have consequences, right? But sometimes we don't know, right? We vote for somebody and then things change and circumstances change, or that person that we voted for, maybe they change. And it can be very uncomfortable, and like we're going through right now at the federal level. But elections do have consequences. Just fire everybody up for the next regularly scheduled election and then have an actual candidate, instead of just forcing the taxpayers in the city of Milwaukee having to pay for an election, having to pay for ballots to get printed, having to pay for poll workers, having to pay for absentee ballots to be counted. It's just, no, it's a part of our democracy. At the same time, it isn't going to bear any fruit. But he said the most important part. He said his wife told him to do it. That's why I'm not married. Wish I would have a wife say, Sherwin, you need to go recall somebody. I'm on recalling nothing. You want to tell me to recall somebody? Damn. All right, I'm going to take a break. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. I'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. Need a way to hype up your day?
Hey, is this Carolyn?
It is.
Congratulations, Carolyn. You just won this
Congratulations.
money.
Woo!
guy that's good all the time.
What would you do with $5,000?
I'm going to buy my nieces some school clothes because my nephew just passed away.
Oh.
So I'm going to get them some clothes.
Stay tuned into 1017 The Truth for your chance to be entered into the Gruber Law Office's 5K giveaway. For contest rules, visit 1017thetruth.com.
This is Sherwin Hughes from 1017 The Truth for Axe Housing. Are you tired of paying a landlord rent when you should be paying yourself? Do you want to leave a financial legacy, or would you like to have a stable place to call home? Well, it's time for you to start on the path to owning your own home instead of renting. You can work with an Axe Housing coach, and they will teach you how home ownership can be a reality. Axe Housing has helped over 4,000 families in our neighborhoods. Many times your mortgage will be a lot less than what you're paying for rent. As an average Axe family who has been helped pays around $900 per month. No matter what barriers you think you're facing, Axe Housing coaches can assist you right now. An Axe Housing coach will help you create and stick to a plan and a budget and get you ready for home ownership. If you're not dreaming of home ownership by now, you certainly should be. Let's make it a reality with Axe Housing. Get started on a virtual orientation by clicking on axehousing.org. That is ACTS housing.org. Don't let where you are financially right now get in the way of your very bright future of becoming a homeowner. Axe coaches are here to help.
My overall experience with Gruber Law Offices has been phenomenal.
The treatment was excellent.
They will be supportive of you. They will listen to you.
It was a great experience knowing that I had people to help me.
I know I could count on them to do what I needed to get done.
Experience with Gruber was great.
They gave me my life back.
It was amazing.
He gets results.
We know how to win. If you've been injured, call Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Gruber Law Offices had my best interests at heart.
Ready to buy your first house, move into your forever home, or simply refinance? At Associated Bank, they've got you. With the right lending plan and guidance, you can achieve your dreams. Your financial goals are much closer than you think, and Associated Bank is excited to help you reach them. Learn more at associatedbank.com/lending or ask a banker for details. Subject to credit approval. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Family needing a getaway? Chula Vista Resort in Wisconsin Dells has everything you want right on the Wisconsin River. Splash into new surrealistic water park fun with Rainbow Rapids. Try new dual zipline racing at Chula's Aerial Adventure Park. New thrills like the towering 200-foot bungee ejection ride, plus $20 million in lodging renovations, 18 holes of challenging golf, all on site. Check it all out at chulavistaresort.com.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
I'm trying to answer the questions as best I can. So I did talk to the Alderwoman on Friday, Alderwoman Andrea Pratt. For those of you that do not know, she is the daughter of former Common Council President, former acting mayor and acting county executive Marvin Pratt. So she's going to come on the show. We're trying to figure out a time potentially this week, if not this week, then next week, so she can explain this entire thing. Basically, what it comes down to is this, and I don't know all the details either. Some of it I think is just personal, right? There are some people that they're so drunk on their own arrogance that if they call an elected official and if they don't get a call back in a certain amount of time, or if they do get a call back, if they do get a response and that response is not the one that they wanted to hear, then they get so angry that they want to show that elected official that, oh, you can't talk to me like that. I'm going to recall you. They use it as a thinly veiled threat. So it could be some of that. But a lot of it, I think, also is something that's very real. It's a NIMBYism, not in my backyard. I've heard even a lot of you disagree with the creation of more affordable housing because you know what it may bring. Or you believe you know what it may bring. It may bring more lower class people that may act in a certain way that won't care about the surrounding community. There's always been a negative connotation around low-income housing. At the same time, we have a housing shortage and a housing crisis, not just in Milwaukee, but nationwide. We also don't like homeless people. Well, homeless people got to live somewhere. But people don't want the homeless people or the low-income people in their backyard. So the mayor also, and this goes back even prior to Cavalier Johnson being mayor, there was a school. The school closed, as have many Milwaukee public schools, because enrollment is going down. People have less children. They're sending less children to public schools. So what MPS once was several generations ago, it is a shell of its former student body population. So somebody somewhere thought it was a good idea to rezone the area where a defunct school sits and build housing there in the 1st District. Well, residents sometimes don't like that because they don't know how it's going to impact their property taxes. They don't know how it's going to impact the overall quality of life in their neighborhood. It might have a positive impact, but they don't know that. You know what it's like? And here's what's crazy. I bet the majority of the people in the 1st Alderman District, while it's diverse, there's some diversity because the 1st District butts up against Glendale. So there's still white folks that live in the northeastern Milwaukee district that is the 1st Aldermanic District. But you'll have black folks that won't want other black folks to move into their neighborhood, especially if there's a negative perception that those black folks are low income. It's why a couple generations ago, white folks didn't want us moving into their neighborhoods because they fear the worst. They fear, it's going to be more crime and, these people are not going to take care of their property, et cetera, et cetera. And maybe some of that's true. Maybe it isn't, but people don't want to take the risk. So you got folks that are very cognizant of their investment that they made in their home, and they don't want affordable housing in their neighborhood. They don't want low-income housing in their neighborhood, and so they're very angry. But sometimes the government needs to make unpopular decisions for the overall growth of a city. And it seems like this is one of those situations. Now, a lot of the approvals that took place happened under a previous alderperson. When Alderwoman Pratt got elected in 2023 and then reelected in 2024 to a full 4-year term, Allan, I think he's wrong. Now, we're going to have the alderwoman because I don't even know how I got in this damn fight, but I'm using it as a teachable moment. A lot of the rezonings and the approvals and the meetings, et cetera, had already taken place while Ashanti was still the alderperson. Now, here's the thing, and I don't know this for sure, but it's starting to make sense to me. If you're aware, if you're a developer, or if you're Alderman Ashanti Hamilton, and let's be clear, former Alderman Ashanti Hamilton and Allan Beckman would have to be separated sometimes by the damn police because Allan would always get in Ashanti's face and he would threaten them. Like, they had a very contentious relationship. So if you are a city official and you're calling a public meeting to discuss the zoning of the school for affordable housing or to zone it for residential, you're not inviting Allan Beckman because he's disruptive and he's rude and he's disrespectful. And so Allan, being rude, disruptive, and disrespectful, probably didn't get a lot of invitations to some of those damn meetings for obvious reasons. And that's why I let him call, so y'all can hear who and what he is. Would you want him in a meeting? He would probably stand up, start yelling and screaming, stomping his feet on the ground. People like that interfere with the process. Right? So he probably was kept out of a lot of information. He probably didn't get the answers that he was seeking because nobody wanted to talk to him. Y'all know that you get more flies with the honey than you do with the vinegar. That man is the vinegar man. He's a sourpuss. So no, he probably got kept out of information, which he didn't like. And so now he thinks his last resort is a recall. And so what ultimately is going to happen is the recall is going to fail. I'll be willing to bet dollars to donuts on that. But then from that point forward, anything that he may want or need from city government, he ain't going to get. His phone calls aren't going to get answered anymore. Why would they? Some people you just can't make happy. And if they're going to threaten your job because they are unhappy or they are mad, or per his words, his wife put him up to it, why would you take a person like that seriously ever? And now he's going to show with this recall that even if he is aggrieved by an elected official, he won't have the power to remove one. So he's going to be playing all of his cards and showing all of his cards, meaning no one should be answering his phone calls ever again, because if they don't answer his phone calls and don't, satisfy his constituent request, he doesn't have the power to remove anybody from office. So ultimately, I think it's going to damage his reputation. Now, I could be totally wrong. I've been wrong before. Maybe there's some groundswell of support that comes out of nowhere for Allen's movement to recall an alderwoman who had next to nothing to do with the overall city plan to build more infill and affordable housing. Some things residents just can't stop. Just like you couldn't stop African Americans moving to North Side neighborhoods in the 1940s and the 50s and the 60s. You couldn't stop it. There were people, I'm sure, that might have recalled other alderpersons at the time that were in support of African Americans being able to live in any neighborhood that they wanted to live in. And what happened ultimately? We were able to live wherever we wanted to live. Recalls be damned. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be back for hour 2.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Come in with straight truth.
Everything got a message. I'll say this. Y'all can't be tired if y'all still messing with the negative energy. Every day I get on and say, the power of the tongue. Impulsive negative thoughts, reacting, and these kids watching you reacting all wild and crazy. The programming you watching on TV, the music, and now, like Security Mike said, it's popular to pop somebody. It's popular now. And these kids they coming back to somebody's house. They coming to eat a meal at somebody's house. They hanging out with somebody in the neighborhood who got a house, who paying the rent. They hanging out with you. They may be your relative. They may be your buddy. That social acceptance is there. Understand what I'm saying? So when we really tired, we gonna cut it off. We gonna stop it.
Tune in to all your favorite 1017 The Truth shows all day, every day by downloading the Truth app.
How is it possible for somebody to be found guilty of something and serve no jail time? How is it possible that someone can get a first offense misdemeanor when it comes to marijuana here in the state of Wisconsin and can face up to 6 months in jail, but 2 men who are convicted of murder get probation? This is not what justice is about. Why does this keep happening, Truth Nation? And why does it always seem like black people die and we don't get the justice that we deserve? How should we react to this? If you commit a crime, you must do the time. If you take somebody's life, you have to pay the cost. I don't care that it was an accident, because it does not make sense to me how someone can be murdered and somehow they get no time. Even if you accidentally kill somebody, you are still a murderer, especially when you plead guilty to felony murder. Marijuana will get you more time in jail than killing somebody, especially when it comes to a black man here in America, unfortunately.
Catch Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace every weekday from noon to 1 p.m. on 1017 The Truth and the Truth app.
I'm Angela Bassett. As a first responder on screen, I know what it means to act fast in an emergency. In real life, the same urgency can save lives, especially when it comes to a food allergy. For 33 million Americans, one bite can turn an ordinary meal into a life-threatening reaction. And too often, they don't have the one thing that could save them: epinephrine. But emergencies don't wait. And when a severe reaction happens, being prepared makes all the difference. Now, there's a needle-free option, a new way to carry epinephrine that makes it easier than ever to be ready. No needles, no hesitation, because when the unexpected happens, the best thing you can do is be ready. Know the risk, know the options, be ready to act. Learn more at foodallergy.org/ready to act.
Listen to the man who tells you exactly how he sees it. The Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris every weekday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. on 101.7 FM, 1510 AM WGKB Waukesha and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com.
Hour 2 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. So I want to get back on track here and talk about how the Trump administration is flooding the zone with things that is keeping everybody distracted. The media is distracted, and this whole firing or having these conversations with networks to rid Donald Trump of his critics. It's illegal, it's unconstitutional, but it's also a distraction. And this president has a lot of things that he may want people distracted from his personal failings and his policy failings, because I can just ask a very simple question. Objectively, is your life better in the 9 months that Donald Trump is president? Are you making more money? Is gas cheaper? Are eggs cheaper? Is inflation in check? Are you doing better? Do you want 3 more years of this? Hell, do you want 10 more years of this? Do you want a lifetime of this? Of the callousness, the lack of empathy, the pursuing of his political enemies to such a level that he wants to declare the Democratic Party a terrorist organization. How does this help put food on the table? Are your bills getting cheaper because of this? Did he send you a stimmy? Is he doing anything for you? Very simple question. I think that Americans are going to answer that question in a very concise manner come November of 2026. So there's a lot of things he wants to distract from. Obviously, the Epstein files is probably one of them. But while all of that is going on, there is another agenda that I believe that they want to implement. So it isn't just about flooding the zone for the sake of just putting a whole bunch of weird, random, haphazard, conspiracy-based theories out there in the world. I think that they are serving a purpose by doing that, because when people are consumed by those things, when the national and international media are consumed by every single weird word that Donald Trump says or that his Health and Human Services Secretary is saying, they're not looking at what the real agenda is. The real agenda is about retaliation and retribution. There are people in this country, and he said it at his friend's funeral, that he doesn't like. He said this is where he differed from Charlie Kirk. He said Charlie wanted the best for his opponents. Donald Trump said, I hate my opponents. Trump said this at a funeral. He said, I hate my opponents. I want to punish them. So you have to think about who his opponents are. And there's a misnomer. People believe that if they are supporters, if they voted for Donald Trump, that Trump knows who you are and he is going to help you. That is not how this works. There are people that think that they are protected like Donald Trump's politics are the blood of Jesus. They think because they voted for him and they support him and they believe in him that they are going to get some great benefit from him. Ladies and gentlemen, let me be very honest with you right now. That is not how it works. If you are not in his ear and if you can't give him $10 million and if you can't buy his goods and his services and his products, he does not care about you. And he would probably tell you that. But there are folks that think because they supported him, he is going to do something for them. That is not the case. His political opponents are people that do not like him, that hold him responsible, that hold him accountable, that speak truth to his power. All of those people are one big basket. And he doesn't like any of them, and he wants to punish them. African Americans are critical of this president, and we have every good damn reason to be, and we are legally protected in doing so. And he knows that. So we are targets. You know, there was something specific that he said when he was speaking at Charlie Kirk's funeral yesterday. And I don't know if it was televised. I was too busy watching the Packers lose to the Cleveland Browns. Side note, how did that happen? How did the Packers give up a 10-point lead in 5 seconds and lose? Come on! Jordan Love. You got to represent the culture now. You're black. You got to do good. Throwing interceptions. And that concludes the sports broadcasting portion of the program. Donald Trump said when he was talking about how much he hates his opponents, what a tacky thing to do at your friend's funeral. He said, I hate her. He referred to a woman. He's like, I hate her. I hate my opponent. Is he still mad at Kamala? Why are conservatives and MAGA so angry? What more do you want? What more could you possibly want? You own and control the government. You can break the rules. You can violate the Constitution, because I'm just waiting for them to declare the Constitution a DEI document because it does things to provide fairness and equality to people. I'm just waiting for somebody to say, when we changed African Americans from 3/5 of a human being to a whole human being, that was DEI. It kind of was. It kind of was some affirmative action saying that black people were human. Just waiting for them to say that. Because that's one of the reasons why they're able to overlook the Constitution, because if the rules of this country give legal shield and protection to folks in a minority, then isn't the Constitution working for the minority and against the majority? If you look at it the way they do, if the Constitution says you can't discriminate, you have to hire qualified black people. You can't discriminate, Mr. Trump, when black people fill out a lease or an apartment, what do they call it, application, and you don't want black people to live in your apartment. Like, legally, you don't get to do that. So if you think that this country is supposed to be owned and controlled and directed by white people, and there are a lot of people that actually feel that way, anything that challenges white people's superiority in that thought is DEI, and it is affirmative action. Our very presence, let alone our success as black people and brown people and women and those that are LGBTQ, your very existence, let alone your success, they see as a threat, because there was a period of time where they could just kill you. And I think when they say make America great again, they want to revert back to a time where they didn't even have to bother with us. They didn't have to answer our phone calls or take us seriously or listen to our demands. And the fact that they have to, they feel like that's oppressive because they have been told damn near since birth, you are better than them. This is your country. Your ancestors fought in all the wars and won all the wars, and your ancestors did all of the things and made America great. Now you have these upstarts. Now you have these damn immigrants. Everyone is a threat to you. And here's where I kind of feel bad for white people that think that their whiteness is some kind of protection and some kind of veneer of being untouchable. It's got to be lonely because your life can still suck. You still can be underemployed, unemployed, dirt poor. You still can have mental health issues. You still can have a screwed up marriage. You still can have horrible children and be white. And they got to be confused by that because they have been told and they have been indoctrinated, like black people have been told and indoctrinated, that whiteness is above everything else. But if you're white and failing, you got to be mad. Because what some folks in this nation, especially working class white folks, are going through, they probably thought that with all of this history and all these incredible accolades that they have gotten since day one. Imagine if every damn history book is about you and your people and their triumph, and Christopher Columbus discovered America. Imagine having all of that glimmering, shimmering, gilded history and your life still sucks. The depression that you may feel. So it creates a vulnerability because there's a lot of white folks whose lives that I wouldn't want. It's easy for you to explain to those white folks, you're being manipulated. See, racism is a distraction so that middle class and working class white folks don't realize that rich people are robbing their asses too, that your communities aren't being invested in either, that your schools are underfunded too, that they want you and yours to not go to college or making college unaffordable and trying to down talk the importance of getting higher education because they know, like Reagan knew in the 1960s, if somebody has a 4-year degree or higher, you are much more likely to be a Democrat. Racism is used. Now, listen to me when I say this. And this is me being objective. This is not me being a black man. This is me who has thoroughly understood the academic perspective and the utility of racism. If you keep white folks distracted and you give them someone to look down on and someone to blame, you will exalt the person that gives you someone to blame for your personal failings. It's the blacks' fault. Because when they move into your neighborhood, your property values are going to go down. No. Your kid is addicted to drugs because the Mexicans are bringing it over here. Not that your child has a genetic predisposition to addiction. No, it's not that, because your child is actually miserable. No, it's not that. It's these Mexicans, you see. So don't take any responsibility for your child's drug use and drug abuse and your child's unfortunate overdose. No. Hate these people. Blame them for your child being addicted to fentanyl. Blame the Chinese people. You see how that works? And it's set up beautifully, because I could have all of the time in the world to try and explain what I just said to a white person and say that the racism that you feel was indoctrinated into you when they told you that this country belonged to you, so that the people who were giving you that indoctrination could steal your money. They wouldn't believe me. But, right, they wouldn't believe me if I said that. But if I said, you know what? These Mexicans sure are coming over here and taking all of the jobs and taking all of the economic opportunity, somebody would believe that in a second. Because the indoctrination worked. And this administration is using it. They're using it to a level that I don't think any of us have ever seen before. While all of that is happening, there are still cohorts of people that this administration finds as the enemy, those of us that use the democracy in order to elect people that see the world our way, the honest way, the decent way, the fair way. That doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, what your race is, what your religion is. You are protected under the law, and you have every right, no matter who you are, to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. No one gets in the way more of that than African-American voters that tend to vote for Democratic candidates. And so that is who is on the top of the enemies list. But you got to be very careful when you pursue African Americans. You can't just be overt about it, because that'll look bad. It's very tacky. The government has the ability to use covert means. And John F. Kennedy said, beware of a government that operates in secrecy. Instead of armies by day, they'll use guerrillas at night. Kennedy told us all of this. History is one of our best guides, whether it be the early era of the Kennedy administration, the Richard Nixon first term, McCarthyism, where you were accusing everybody of being an enemy of the state and being a communist. History will show what probably is coming next. But here's something that the Trump administration is heavily focused on. I'm going to get to the vaccine stuff in a minute, because that plays into the strategy as well. The Trump administration has axed nearly 24 projects addressing health and environmental issues in southern black communities, a Washington Post analysis found, reversing years of work to address pollution, sewage leaks, flooding, and more. Remember Hurricane Katrina? Rural Alabama counties lost $14 million in grants to upgrade sanitation systems so decrepit that some residents have contracted hookworm. A historically black Virginia neighborhood won't receive a $20 million grant that will stop severe flooding. In Louisiana, multiple federal efforts have been halted. A Justice Department lawsuit against a corporation accused of worsening cancer risks in predominantly black neighborhoods. The designation of one area is a National Historic Landmark to limit industrialization, and grants from the EPA to support monitoring air quality in, quote, Cancer Alley, an 80-mile stretch of mostly black towns and villages hit hard by industrial pollution. The Trump administration said the changes are needed to curb government spending. Officials have also linked some Biden-era climate programs to, you guessed it, diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives that President Donald Trump and his top aides have said amount to illegal discrimination. I need you guys to understand this. I don't care who you are. I don't care where you're listening from. When the administration uses those three very triggering words, DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, let me tell you what those are. Those are any programs, any allocation of funding that came from Congress or was designated by a previous president that identifies discrimination and then uses resources to try and eradicate that discrimination. Trump calls that DEI. So if there are people that are harmed, that are being overtly discriminated against institutionally, okay? Black people only being able to live where there's damn toxic waste is an institutionally racist problem. Where you wouldn't even zone that land for residential when it came to white folks. This is where you put the black people. That is the institution creating housing and residential zoning for black people, knowing that our health risks living in that area is going to kill us sooner. Therefore, Cancer Alley, that 80-mile stretch in Louisiana. So if a presidential administration says, hey, wait a minute, some time ago, an area that is not fit for human habitation has a bunch of black houses on it. Wow, maybe we need to allocate some resources to clean up those environmental hazards, right? And then that program would be allowed to exist. Trump comes in, sees the program, it ignores, or worse, it pays attention to the fact that black people are living in places and in areas, geographic areas that can be a health risk, and there's money designed to clean those areas up. Trump sees it as, oh, that's DEI because you're trying to help the blacks. That money should be going to good white people that actually voted for me. There's actually a lot more, so I'm going to take a break, come back, because I want people to be able to read between the lines, because this stuff is not going to make the headlines. The next outrageous thing that Trump says, or the next Democrat that he wants to go after, or telling his head of the Department of Justice or the head of the FBI to try and prosecute Letitia James or anybody else, or Adam Schiff, people that went after President Donald Trump. That's what you're going to hear and what you're going to read about. You're not going to hear about what this administration is actually doing under the surface, because we are being overwhelmed by the zone being flooded by this nonsense. I am here to explain to you what is actually happening under the surface. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. I'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
From the biggest stars to the greatest moments, Behind the Bucks is Bucks history like you've never heard it before. It's all on Behind the Bucks on the Bucks Plus audio network. Behind the Bucks is presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, the new ESPN Wisconsin app, and wherever you get podcasts.
It's 101.7 The Truth's Dr. Ken Harris for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. When a customer chooses Pella, one of the most important things to them is honoring that trust and commitment. A lot of customers might have apprehensions about inviting someone out to their home. But when you see the experience and professionalism, you can trust them with bringing your project to life. Their vision is to be the company that people want to do business with. Watching them work from idea to installation gives you the ability to see firsthand the care taken to ensure the Pella experience is complete. When you want long-lasting comfort and reliability, it's easy to trust Pella. Every piece is specifically constructed for you and your home, always designed with innovation and rigorously tested for quality and performance. The Pella team takes pride in constructing quality windows and doors with meticulous attention to every detail. Order by the end of the month and get 0% interest for up to 5 years. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply. It's 9/30/2025.
Celebrate the reigning queens of disco with Disco Divas, running at the Bradley Symphony Center September 26th through the 28th. Principal Pops conductor Byron Stripling will lead the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra and an all-star trio of vocalists in all of your favorite hits from the disco era. Think Donna Summer, Patti LaBelle, Diana Ross, and Chaka Khan, as well as the Bee Gees, Earth, Wind & Fire, and even Michael Jackson. Those silky high strings and thumping bass lines will never sound better as you dance and sing along in your seat to tunes like I Will Survive, We Are Family, I'm Coming Out, and more. So what are you waiting for? Get those sequins out of storage and call the box office now at 414-291-7605 for Disco Divas or visit mso.org.
Tired of hearing no from other banks? No to a loan? No to a checking account? Just no? At Brewery Credit Union, we find ways to say yes. Yes to second chances. Yes to rebuilding credit. Yes to helping you save, borrow, and thrive. Work with our credit specialists and move your financial life forward. Brewery Credit Union, Milwaukee's best place to borrow and save. Visit brewerycu.com. That is brewerycu.com. Federally insured by NCUA.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Our phone number is 833-212-1017, 833-212-1017 if you have questions or comments, or if you want to send a text message. I know some of you are unable to call. You can text. I will do my level best to read your text messages when they come in via our text line. It's more likely if you have an urgent question or comment to post it on YouTube. So if you go to youtube.com or open up your YouTube app from your smartphone or other mobile device and search 1017 The Truth and hit subscribe, you'll be able to join the real-time chat that's associated with this broadcast. I want to read something that W. Benton wrote, and I find it interesting, to say the least, but also, I guess, kind of troubling. Ricky, can we do a YouTube poll? Welcome back, by the way, Ricky.
Thank you, sure. It's glad to be back. You know, I didn't like being away so long from you.
All right.
Yeah, I didn't like hearing other voices and producers on my show, well, our show. I ain't like that.
Show got to go on, dog. You know how the game goes. It's got to go on.
Yeah, but, you know, we got chemistry.
Relax. Are you sounding like Denise now?
Yeah.
You pregnant too?
Kind of.
I'm over here just spreading seed, apparently.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Okay, enough about that. Why don't we, I want to put up a poll. I want to ask people something because black people are funny in this regard. Do you support low-income housing in your neighborhood? Yes or no? Do you support... Now, everyone is going to be able to answer this poll, so this is not... I don't know why I think only black people listen to my show. A lot of white folks listen to my show. When I was at Truth Family Fest, I think that was August 23rd, the only people that came up to me there, I was only there for a little while, were Caucasian folks saying that they listened and they appreciated the show. So thank you to all of you that listen. But for some reason, I think I'm only talking to black people. But I want to know how you all feel. We have a housing problem, and we don't like homelessness, right? We don't like homeless people because they're, you know, without a home, and they're just hanging out. We don't like to see that. But they also don't have a lot of money. And if we had universal basic income, some of y'all wouldn't like that either because you don't want people to get free money because, you know, you didn't get free money. You had to work hard for everything you got. So if we don't like free money or just welfare in general, unless you need welfare, but in general, a lot of people are opposed to welfare. They're opposed to universal basic income because they think folks should work hard for their money. Let me be clear. I think that people should work hard too, but we have to prepare people and educate people so that they can find a skill that they can exhibit in the workforce. And if that doesn't happen, you can't just tell somebody with no skills who is not academically prepared to just go out there. I've always had an issue with that. There are some people and some entities that expect people to just do stuff without preparing them. Now, if somebody prepares you and you don't do it, well, that's something totally different. But if we need to house people, because I believe, this is a Sherwin belief, I don't know if this is backed up by fact, data, science, statistics, or whatever, unhoused people are, I'm going to say, more likely to be victims of crime. And depending upon why they're unhoused, they could be perpetrators of crime too. Remember during the RNC when y'all got real mad when those Ohio police officers that were patrolling outside of the perimeter saw two unhoused men fighting? One of those men had a knife and was in like mid-stab of another man. Those are unhoused people. One was committing a crime. So unhoused people are either more likely to be victims or in some cases perpetrators. I think that by housing folks, we could be reducing crime. But some of y'all think that when formerly unhoused people or low-income people or poor people get housing, that they are the criminal element. Now, hell, what is it now? Is it just their appearance, their very existence? And I say that because a lot of y'all come from poverty. A lot of people do, of all races. In fact, if you're black, you're not even considered authentically black unless you came from the gutter. We're the only race of people that do that. Like, you're not authentic unless you came from nothing. So we almost pedestalize poverty as likening somebody to being more authentically black. Yet, when we have programs that are designed to help low-income people, let me be clear about this. A lot of folks who used to be low-income got some help from somewhere, and then maybe they climbed up, and maybe they actually did pull themselves up by their bootstraps, which I think a lot of black people actually do because, we don't really have that much choice. But for some reason, when we pride ourselves on the lineages of our families that came from nothing, that came from poverty, and that's like a badge of honor for us. But when we look at other people that are on that same trajectory, we look down on them. Capitalism will do that to you. It'll make you hate poor people. It'll make you divorce yourself from them. It's why rich white people hate poor white people, because they don't want to be reminded, and also rich white people don't ever want to become one of those. So we're going to ask the question on YouTube. Go to youtube.com or open up your YouTube app from your smartphone or other mobile device. And it's a simple yes or no question. Do you support low-income housing in your neighborhood and surrounding areas? Because I bet you if the Trump administration paid attention to, or if they hired some company to do a national poll, and if most Americans oppose low-income housing, knowing it's much more likely to be racial minorities who are going to live in low-income housing, if the majority of Americans oppose it, Trump would eliminate HUD. Would just eliminate all affordable housing tax credits. All of that stuff would just be eliminated. And it's also very timely because Allan Beckman, who called in today and Friday and probably Thursday and probably Wednesday, is trying to force a recall election of 1st District Alderwoman Andrea Pratt because of a low-income housing development that actually started under a previous alderperson. And because that project wasn't stopped, Allan and some of his neighbors are forcing a recall of the current alderwoman. So affordable housing clearly is a lightning rod issue that we maybe need to discuss. I'm going to take a break. Come back. We'll talk to Linda on the other side. And I want to read a text message that I received from a listener and their opposition to affordable housing in their neighborhood or in their backyard. Nobody wants this stuff in their backyard. Well, whose backyard are we going to put it in? Now, if you ask me, Sherwin, do you want low-income housing in your neighborhood?
Yeah, that's a good question. Do you want it in your neighborhood or in your neck of the woods?
My neighborhood is very mixed, income-wise. Let me be clear, a lot of black Milwaukee neighborhoods are. So the New York Times did a study, 2016, 2018. Milwaukee is like the only city in the country where African Americans who make above $150,000 a year live in the same neighborhood, on the same block, on the same street as black folks that make minimum wage. So if you ask me, oh, Sherwin, do you want low-income people in your neighborhood? My next-door neighbor might be getting Section 8. I don't know. As long as you're not an idiot and leave me alone, okay? I'll talk to you. I say hi to you. I say good morning to you. If your mail accidentally gets dropped off in my mailbox, I'll walk your little mail over to your house. I'll do little nice neighborly things. If you ain't shoveled your walkway, it depends on how much energy I got. I might go ahead and give him a snowblower. I might take care of you as my neighbor. But just for the most part, leave me alone.
Just imagine you got blunt wraps all in your front yard, smelling all that Zech and that gas.
I do now. I don't like it.
Yeah, that's what comes with low income sometimes.
You know what the worst thing that I pick up from my yard? I like people hear me cuss. And all my neighbors got Ring doorbells, so I know that they're all picking up what I'm saying.
You can guess this one. I think you told me this one.
What is it?
A used condom.
No, it's baby wipes.
Oh, yeah, that one.
Baby wipes.
I was close.
Because you know what's going on. That's prostitution. No. Don't make me explain it because I'm trying not to be vulgar. If y'all ever just see just random like wet wipes, like baby wipes, just in, I have to go get like either a garbage picker or I like put on a hazmat suit. Okay, I'm going to get the baby wipe. I'm approaching the baby wipe. Okay. If the wind is blowing the baby wipe. Everyone look out. I'm approaching the wet wipe. I'm near it. I'm extending. We have it. We have the baby. We're going to walk very carefully, holding it away from my body. We're moving toward the trash receptacle, and now we're going to burn the trash receptacle where the baby wipe is, because they were not wiping a baby with that baby wipe. They were wiping an area that a baby comes out of. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. Don't go anywhere. I'll be back shortly.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com.
Make every day extraordinary with something special from Wisconsin. From artisan cheeses to fresh produce to maple syrup, the Wisconsin Department of Agriculture, Trade, and Consumer Protection's Something Special from Wisconsin program is proud to work with member businesses that certify their Wisconsin-made and processed products. Look for the red and yellow sticker and visit somethingspecialfromwisconsin.com to find member businesses and products made with care, quality, and love. Sponsored by Wisconsin DATCP.
To help those who want to be helped, but may not be able to afford it.
That's what PGA Tour winner Grayson Murray had envisioned for a foundation before he sadly took his own life at just 30 years old. His parents channeled their grief into creating the Grayson Murray Foundation, carrying out his vision to help those struggling with mental health and addiction. To donate and learn more, visit GraysonMurrayFoundation.com.
What's poppin', Truth Nation? It's your girl Noni Juice with Ashley Lucas from Associated Bank, and this is Making Your Money Work. There's a lot we actually have to get into, okay? And one of the main things that I feel like people aren't really talking about a lot are tariffs.
Oof.
Yes, tariffs is a big one, and I think people need to know how tariffs could actually potentially impact small business clients. So how does it impact them?
Yeah, it's something that we're talking about at Associated Bank quite a bit with our business clients. We call it the big T word because it's kind of scary, but it's something that I think small businesses really do need to proactively discuss to make sure they're prepared. And something to remember is the economy changes all the time. Businesses withstand changes in the economy. So purchasing will change, right? Pricing may change depending on if they're buying outside of the United States, but maybe even within the United States. So if you have a retail store, it could potentially mean that the price of the goods that they're purchasing for their store may go up. And sometimes product may take longer. So if people start switching where they're buying from, it may take longer to get. So those are some things that if you're a business owner right now, you should be discussing with your bank or with peers or with a subject matter expert to just make sure you're prepared if it does change your business.
So how can small business owners prepare for this whole tariff situation?
So some things we always talk about with small business owners is you always want to prepare for the unexpected. And the truth is right now we don't have all the answers, right? We are learning, banks are learning, subject matter experts are learning right alongside business owners. There's a couple things you can do. One, reach out to your financial institution and ask what they know. Right now, we are getting research. We're talking to economic experts to make sure that we have the appropriate information to give to business owners.
This has been Making Your Money Work, brought to you by Associated Bank.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
So right now, I don't believe you all. I think you're answering in a politically correct way, or you're finding a loophole in the question, which I guess that's fair. The question is, and we put this poll up on our YouTube, do you support low-income housing in your neighborhood or surrounding areas? 62% of you say yes, 38% of you say no. I think that a lot of you all are saying, oh, yeah, sure, in a surrounding area. Well, hell, of course, because the surrounding area is over there. I don't believe it. Do you support low-income housing in your neighborhood or surrounding areas? It is the reason why there's a current recall going on right now of the 1st District Alderwoman, Andrea Pratt, because there is potentially a low-income housing development being constructed where a school once was. And you guys got to understand, like, if you have space in a city, because the school was closed, and if we have a housing problem and we need to build more housing, even Kamala Harris said when she was running that she wanted to be, the federal government was going to partner with developers to build more housing because we need more housing. And a lot of people don't have a lot of money. And I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but housing is incredibly expensive. Rents are expensive. Mortgages are expensive. Interest rates are still high, even though the Fed recently lowered them by a quarter point. I also believe that unhoused people are vulnerable. They can be victims of crime because they are vulnerable. Like, homeless people get murdered all the time. Also, you should know, if you hear about programs that are being cut and being reduced to help the homeless, the largest demographic of homeless people in the United States of America are black men. So just know that whenever you hear about the administration cutting funding and programs and health care, et cetera, for homeless people, that is a demographic that is dominated by African-American men. Now, there are other demographics that are homeless, but African-American men are something like 35 to 40% of the homeless. You know what I don't see? A homeless Asian. Have you ever, honestly, I've never seen, two things I don't think I've ever seen. 3. A homeless Asian, a pregnant Chinese woman, and a morbidly obese person in their 80s. Think about it. You don't see fat old people. Being fat is for the young. No, seriously, when was the last time you saw a fat 88-year-old? You don't. Old people are skinny sometimes. They might have a little belly, like a little pooch, but they're not fat people. Let's talk to Linda. You're on 1017 The Truth. How are you?
Good morning, Professor, and good morning to all the good, beautiful black and white people of 101.7 The Truth in Milwaukee and America. Hey, Sherwin. What happened next? Hey, Sherwin. Couple of things. One, don't say that about HUD. You giving him ideas. You know, Doge ain't gone. And I did not take the survey because as a renter and then a homeowner and landlord, I find that the area that I've been living in for 25 to 35 years was first, there was housing, HUD, whatever you want to call affordable housing in that in 53209. It's just that the recent element of those who benefit from HUD is deplorable and is disrespectful. And I think that it is taking advantage of the of the benefits that the government allows people, but, that are struggling like that. But we have to face the fact that in the black community, and it's not just the black community, but because I'm black and I'm around a lot of black people, I see that people take advantage of the government, and they're like, I'm just going to let the government take care of me. That's trifling. They don't believe in themselves. They don't want to contribute to society, to their family, or anything. And I find that that's so something that needs to be studied. For real. I'm just saying that the element that is in my vicinity now compared to what it was 35, 40 years ago with affordable housing, I wouldn't. As a landowner and an occupant in those types of neighborhoods, I don't want them. Not the element that's coming in now. No, they're criminal-minded.
Linda, do you know that your alderwoman is being recalled because of that very thing that you disagree with affordable housing and some people taking advantage of it? So do you agree with Allan Beckman's recall, and are you going to sign the recall petition because you don't particularly want affordable housing in your backyard?
I can answer that. I absolutely do not agree with Allen because I have met with Alderperson Pratt, and I have communicated with her, and I am establishing a network with her, so her and Dora and all of my city officials. So I don't believe what Allen is doing is productive. I think it's counterproductive. I think that he should use his creative intelligence and imagination to try and solve the problem some other way, shape, or form.
Okay, fair enough. Coming from another first district resident, I got a lot of first aldermanic district residents that call and listen to the show. Shout out to y'all. Thank you for your call, Linda. Miss Shack. Linda.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Oh, I should have told Linda that Denise is trying to steal me. Denise and I apparently have an announcement. Denise came up with an idea. So Denise did the morning show. Was it her? It must have been her and Bailey this morning. So as Bailey and Denise are walking out, I'm walking into the studio. Well, Denise, being that she can't help herself, followed me back into the studio, and that's when she told me about this thing that she and I are going to do together. And I pick my battles with Denise, as you should too. And she said, you know how Denise is, Sherwin, we're going to do this thing together, and we're going to start tomorrow. I was like, all right. Would you like me to come on the show and preview the thing that we're going to do? I was like, well, Denise, I just spent the last 2 hours preparing a show because I want to tell people how we should be reading between the lines and not be fooled and distracted by Donald Trump consuming the headlines with nonsense and talk about what is actually going on. So I'll take that as a yes. And then she sat down in the seat right here. And then so I started the show with Denise. So apparently she and we have something we're going to do. I was hoping for the answers to the pregnancy test. I'm kidding. Denise.
Better listen to your woman.
Is not. I don't know if Denise can get pregnant. I mean, it's up to her, I guess. I don't know, but it wouldn't. No. Everybody calm down. If she could, it wouldn't be me. No, it wouldn't. You guys got to believe me. If she could get a baby in her, I didn't place it in there. Well, let me see. No, not at all. And sometimes you got to double check now. I did not. It wouldn't be mine. Might be Ricky's. Might be Zach's. I don't know who. Why are we talking about pregnancy? No one is pregnant. I hope not. Oh, I'm feeling lightheaded again. I'm about to die on the air again. Could you imagine that? Sherwin, I've got good news for you. I'll be like, oh, what is it, Denise? You're going to be a father. I'll be like, oh, Nelly. Could you imagine that? Could you imagine our loudmouth child that wouldn't listen to anybody, that would be disrespectful, they would probably be mean and condescending. Very, very smart and very attractive. Our child will be born. Hello, father. Hello, mother. I think I want filet mignon for dinner. But child, you don't even have teeth yet. Shut up, father. Denise is my mother. I'm going to take a commercial break and get the show back on track because I need to get the show. Now I wonder what Denise actually has planned. Ricky, did she tell you what she has planned for me tomorrow?
I was going to ask you on break. I have no clue.
Okay, well, I guess we're all going to find out tomorrow morning. So, she also made it clear that she's here all week. So, all right, well, make sure you tune in. She might be coming back. She might. Y'all miss Denise. You do. Hey, Ricky, come on now. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
This is 101.7 The Truth's Kyle Wallace, and I am Milwaukee. I take great pride in being a 414 boy and representing the city that I love. The great memories I have of going to Northtown Cinema to see movies with family and friends, to going to Capitol Court to see the Black Santa Claus, this city has helped shape me into the man that I am today, and I pledge to utilize my voice as a way to advocate for you in our community. Join the home of Milwaukee's realest conversations where you can speak your truth. We are the award-winning 101.7 The Truth. Milwaukee Black Talk.
This is Sherwin Hughes from 101.7 The Truth for Axe Housing. Are you tired of paying a landlord rent when you should be paying yourself? Do you want to leave a financial legacy, or would you like to have a stable place to call home? Well, it's time for you to start on the path to owning your own home instead of renting. You can work with an Axe Housing coach, and they will teach you how home ownership can be a reality. Axe Housing has helped over 4,000 families in our neighborhoods. Many times your mortgage will be a lot less than what you're paying for rent. As an average Axe family who has been helped pays around $900 per month. No matter what barriers you think you're facing, Axe Housing coaches can assist you right now. An Axe Housing coach will help you create and stick to a plan and a budget and get you ready for home ownership. If you're not dreaming of home ownership by now, you certainly should be. Let's make it a reality with Axe Housing. Get started on a virtual orientation by clicking on axhousing.org. That is ACTShousing.org. Don't let where you are financially right now get in the way of your very bright future of becoming a homeowner. Axe coaches are here to help.
Fall in Milwaukee, where the air is crisp, the drinks are cold, and the good times are just heating up. Stroll Milwaukee's lakefront and explore its parks as they burst into a kaleidoscope of golds, ambers, and reds. Raise a glass at a beer garden that feels like a neighborhood block party, Milwaukee style. And just as the temps fall, Brewers baseball is turning up the heat. October dreams are made right here. This season, every color, every cheer, every sip, it all comes together in Milwaukee. Craft your perfect getaway at visitmilwaukee.org.
Tired of hearing no from other banks? No to a loan? No to a checking account? Just no? At Brewery Credit Union, we find ways to say yes. Yes to second chances. Yes to rebuilding credit. Yes to helping you save, borrow, and thrive. Work with our credit specialists and move your financial life forward. Brewery Credit Union, Milwaukee's best place to borrow and save. Visit brewerycu.com. That is brewerycu.com. Federally insured by NCUA.
When you're high, you feel different. Pretty obvious, right? You think different, talk different, but if you feel different, you drive different. So if you're high, just don't drive. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Happy kids heal faster, and that's why Starlight is dedicated to improving the mental well-being of sick kids across the U.S. Learn how at starlight.org.
Call Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
The numbers are hovering right around 60-40. Do you support low-income housing in your neighborhood or surrounding areas? 59% of you say yes, 41% of you say no. Maybe I made a compelling argument, or maybe you guys are okay with affordable housing in surrounding areas, but maybe not right across the street next door or in your backyard. I know this much. It has to go somewhere. Maybe it's wrong to think because someone's income is low that they are a criminal. And I say that because many of you have come from homes where there wasn't a whole bunch of money. And were you a criminal? Maybe you were. I don't know. I just think it's not fair because there has been a historic legacy of poverty in the black community. A lot of times it was institutional. And that doesn't mean that we are criminals. There's all sorts of races of people. So I would take someone who migrated here. They don't come here rich, because if you're rich, you just come here with the HB1 visa where you spend however many hundreds of thousands of dollars and then they fast track your citizenship. So if you're wealthy and you come here, that's one thing. But I bet a lot of people that come to America searching for a better life are not wealthy. They're probably considered indigent. They're considered poor. And we know this for an absolute fact. Americans who are citizens commit more crimes than migrants who are not. And they come here because poverty forced them out of their home countries, and they don't commit more crimes than us. So I get it. I understand it, because oftentimes when we hear about where crime is being committed, and let's be clear, in the city of Milwaukee, it's everywhere. South side, near south side, far south side, north side, downtown, west side, it's crime all over this city. But if you identify a neighborhood, maybe it's a north side neighborhood, and you hear about, carjackings and car thefts and property crimes and home invasions and shootings, instead of just blaming the people, because 80, 90, 100,000 people live on the north side of the city of Milwaukee, and everybody is not a hardened criminal. Maybe we should look at all of the other elements that are missing from that community and all the other resources that have been taken out or reallocated somewhere else. And I'm not giving an excuse, I'm just doing an explanation. This is an explanation. Other places where there are lower incidences of crime might have sufficient resources so that people can take care of themselves and take care of their families. Where crime exists, something else is missing. So if crime is here in this place, tell me what else isn't. Is it poor educational outcomes? Is it broken families? Is it too many damn liquor stores? Is it no grocery stores with fresh fruits and vegetables? There's a whole bunch of other things that exist in places where there is poverty and where there may be an uptick of crime. But also, rich people commit crimes too. Your president has 34 felonies. So maybe, just maybe, breakthrough coming in. A big light bulb just went off above my head. Maybe being rich likens somebody to being a criminal because they can get away with it. You can get elected president. Or you can break the law, violate the Constitution, several amendments of the Constitution, and pay zero penalty for it. Maybe it's rich people that are the criminals, and we just put the blame on the poor folk. I want to read this comment that came in. Thank you, Rodney, for sending me what is this? The recall area. He said a map. That's not the whole district, Rodney. This is just a handful of blocks. The first Aldermanic district is bigger than this. But thank you for sending this map, Rodney. All right. Rodney also says, to add to Allen's foolishness, does he realize the housing authority, low-income housing in the area, 39th Street to Sherman, Flores to Douglas already? How is he going to get them out? So, Rodney, I don't know if it's about removing existing low-income housing. It could be that some residents or maybe they're fed up. They don't want more coming in, more affordable housing. So I don't think it's about removing existing affordable housing. It's about trying to stop an additional development that's coming in. All right. W. Benton says, "Good morning, Sherwin. I hope you have peace and joy today." Thank you. I do too. They say, "No, I don't want low-income housing in this area. I live in Brown Deer bordering Milwaukee. Have you heard of Ghetto Meadows? Approximately 84th to 107th on Brown Deer. I believe the boundary extends north approximately 7 blocks. Low income definitely brings more crime. I remember hearing about the developers' plan to build low-income housing. Never received notice of any sort. Why not Wauwatosa, Fox Point, and any of the other neighboring municipalities? You know as well as I do. No insult or negativity intended, but what about your location? The low-income housing almost destroyed the village of Brown Deer. The home value in the area plummeted." So thank you for your commentary, Mr. or Miss Benton. If you live in Brown Deer, you don't have any authority nor say-so what the city of Milwaukee builds. And yes, I have heard of the area that you call Ghetto Meadows. We called it North Ghetto back in the day, the low-income condominium experiment on 91st and Brown Deer called North Meadows, where they displaced people from the Brewers Hill area because they wanted to redevelop that housing for wealthy people. And then they moved some of those folks way out to the far northwest side, and we did see that community decline. That's because there were no more family-sustaining jobs. And we were in the middle. So when they did the North Meadows condo experiment, we got to tell the entire story. That was also when Wisconsin was still giving out welfare checks, and those idiots from Chicago and Gary and Detroit brought their drug dealing tails up here, and they're the ones that ruined that area. I'm going to take a break, come back. We're going to continue our conversation for hour 3 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. We'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Come in with straight truth.
And to make matters even worse, Truth Nation, when you look at more numbers, there have been 59 children shot in the city of Milwaukee, and 40 of the perpetrators were also under 18. They were children. So you have almost 60 young folks here. If you go to a private school, some schools only got 60 kids in elementary school, but you're talking about maybe 3 classrooms in a middle school or elementary school worth of kids who have been shot in our city this year, but 40 of them who perpetrated the act were also children. So you're talking about 100 kids who are ruining their lives in the city of Milwaukee in 8 months. We have to be better, because when you look at the overall murder rate in the city of Milwaukee, Milwaukee makes up about 50% of the total murders in the whole state of Wisconsin. But seeing young folks getting killed and young folks shooting guns is extremely troubling and puzzling to me. It should be puzzling to you as well. It's a troubling reality that we have to face in our community.
Watch all your favorite 1017 The Truth shows by subscribing to 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
The biggest snowflakes out here are always been the white Republicans, who are so gung-ho on protecting the feelings of white kids while they ignore the needs of other kids. If Milwaukee's youth has a problem with fighting, what white youth have a problem with being destructive and offensive. So it is sad that our government is actively working to de-emphasize educating and uplifting students of color in different backgrounds on college campuses. That emphasis is going to be diminished, and the only kids that will suffer will be our kids. They were willing to hold up the advancement of the state of Wisconsin because they disagree with DEI. What are white Republicans afraid of? Why are they afraid to face the fact that their grandmas and grandpapas were part of a system which purposely held black folks back and failed to give us the access that we deserve? Until these politicians stop ignoring these egregious acts of hate and racial incidents, America can never be great again.
Catch Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace every weekday from noon to 1 p.m. on 1017 The Truth and The Truth app.
Metastatic breast cancer, or stage 4 breast cancer, happens when cancer spreads beyond the breast to other parts of the body. About 168,000 women are living with it today, with black women at a higher risk due to various factors. Research has led to treatments that help manage the disease disease and improve quality of life. The Everyday Counts study explores how nutrition and exercise coaching can support women with metastatic breast cancer. To learn more about the Everyday Counts study in Milwaukee, call 414-955-8819 or email edc@mcw.edu. If you or someone you know has stage 4 breast cancer, please encourage them to call and enroll in this valuable study. Again, call 414-955-8819 or email edc@mcw.edu.
All of your favorite 1017 The Truth content whenever you want. The Truth app has it all. The Truth is on 1017 and 1510 WGKB Waukesha, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
I think this is my song Groovy Bits. Is this Groovy Bits? So this is like 1960s Rat Pack, Sammy Davis Jr. playing the vibraphone in a smoky, dimly lit club with Frank Sinatra in the background at a private table with a bunch of hoes and President Kennedy. What a time, huh? That's what that song reminds me of. And, of course, my Blue Mist album is available on all major platforms. Go and listen to it or whatever. I want to do a couple of things. I want to give you guys a demographic snapshot of America, but I also want to continue our conversation about low-income housing and whether people in Milwaukee and surrounding areas support it. And I want to clear up something that a concerned listener of the program texted us saying that they don't support low-income housing, even though they live in Brown Deer. The low-income housing developments around and surrounding Brown Deer, which is in the city of Milwaukee, is impacting their property values. Let me just go ahead and say this. I grew up in Brown Deer. I don't know why Brown Deer became aspirational for black people. I grew up there. It's not all that. But for some black folks, like that was like, oh, I made it. Do you understand? Like Brown Deer, I don't know what it was. And maybe I am not old enough to understand like the political and the social climate of black people not having residential mobility, but being able to afford it. Like I wasn't really around for that because I could live wherever I want to live. When I had the money to buy a house, I had many neighborhoods, suburbs. Hell, I even had different cities and states as options. But prior to me and prior to my generation, it was not like that. And maybe Brown Deer was seen as the forbidden fruit. My parents moved out to Brown Deer in 1980 because they wanted me to go to the Brown Deer schools. And I went to the Brown Deer schools and look what you have before you. Look, don't look at me like that. The EMT twins is looking at me like Brown Deer schools is a problem. Melanie Ricks also went to Brown. Oh, she and I are both on our high school Hall of Fame wall. Who else? I think Jason Smith. Well, he don't work here no more. I think he went to Brown Deer. Not Jason. It was some other dude. A few of us went to Brown Deer. But I don't know why black people thought it was aspirational. And now black folks that live in Brown Deer, it sounded like the white folks that used to live in Brown Deer, newsflash, almost all the white folks have left Brown Deer. The only white people that are still in Brown Deer are the ones that can't move. Stuck there. Like certain white folks that still live on the north side of the city of Milwaukee, they just stuck. And they get more racist by the day because I sure wish I could move out of here, but I can't afford interest rates and I'm old. I want to note a couple of things. Do not let me forget to talk about demographics because this is very important. I think it's also the data that the Trump administration is using and that's guiding their policy, and I want to share that information with you so you can follow what is guiding the Trump policy because it seems kind of random and kind of haphazard that they are doing the things that they are doing. Usually, presidential administrations follow a theme, right? So George W. Bush, it was reforming education and No Child Left Behind and the war on terror. Barack Obama, it was affordable health care and rebuilding the economy and fixing the home foreclosure crisis and, getting our automakers back solvent again, et cetera, et cetera. With Trump, with Biden, it was COVID and trying to repair the nation socially and economically after COVID and trying to, do right by people after the murder of George Floyd. The Trump administration just seems all over the place, but one of their themes is retaliation and retribution, but they're still using some information as guiding principles. First and foremost, any money or resources that have been allocated to helping minorities that were impacted or affected by institutional structural racism, the discovery of those problems and then the allocation of resources to eliminate them, Trump is wiping all that out. Like the whole thing with DOGE, I think, is let's see where money is going to black people. Let's see where it's going to people that were impacted by institutional and structural racism, and let's cut all of that funding, as I read an article a little while ago where they are doing exactly that, where there are some African-American communities in the South that were receiving environmental cleanup grants. The Trump administration has cut those because it's easy to go after black people because our political organization is pretty fragmented until it's presidential election time, and because we don't vote for Trump, and a lot of African Americans in the media and content creators, we put Trump in our focus and we talk so bad about him. So he clearly is going after us. And because we are so reliant on the federal government, and we have been, because the government screwed us over originally, they still, while they're not going to give us reparations, there are a variety of different programs and grants and subsidies available to African Americans because the government needs to do right by us. And what Trump is doing is he's encapsulating all of that. Well, that's DEI, even though the resources that we get exist because for so long they didn't, right? So I do want to give you guys demographic information because I'm hoping that it will make it easier to read between the lines and you'll know some of the basis of why the Trump administration is moving the way that it does. It's not going to explain everything because sometimes I think this country is led by however dude feels when he wakes up in the morning, which is a frightening thing to think about. Because one day he might wake up and just say, I want war. I want so much. It'll be a beautiful war. It'll be so beautiful. We'll drop all the bombs and we'll have the drones. We're going to take it to the people and we're going to bomb the people. So that might be something on our horizon as well. Because, hell, that's the only thing he hasn't done to start a damn war. Well, he did bomb Venezuela. And I think they blew up a boat in the Dominican Republic and said they found a bunch of cocaine. But whatever. So I want to get to the demographic stuff. But also, I have, contrary to popular belief, and I'm providing this information because I want to make sure that people have the facts. What you do with those facts, entirely up to you. But I want to make sure that you have them because it seems that in today's media, getting useful facts is harder to come by. So I did a little research on where affordable housing units are being built and where they've been approved. Because if we look at Milwaukee County, maybe a little bit of Waukesha County, because that's still in the metro area, we believe that the overwhelming majority of affordable housing is just being shoved in the city of Milwaukee. In some neighborhoods that may have achieved a level of stability, and sometimes it takes a long time to stabilize a neighborhood. And right when residents, especially long-term residents that have been there for 20 years and 30 years, and they've been working with their neighbors and they've been working with the police and the community policing association and doing block watches and block clubs, and boom, they finally got the neighborhood to where the homeowners are working together and crime is going down. Next thing you know, they're being steamrolled by an affordable housing development, and those residents who work very hard to try and clean their community up, clean the neighborhood up, they feel defeated because an affordable housing complex or a unit is being built against their best wishes. And I don't want people to think that I don't empathize with that. If you worked your tail off trying to get a bad criminal element out of your community and make sure that good, decent people can live in peace, and then the city is like, oh, by the way, we're going to build this affordable housing unit here, I can see why people would get mad. But something else I want you to be aware of. When they say affordable housing, it's not just poor criminal black people. It's old people. You know, senior living is still considered affordable housing, and poor and old people don't have a lot of money, especially those that didn't save for retirement. I sometimes see the old people at Walmart as a greeter. You know who else has greeters? Meejers. Meejers is a grocery store that I go to because I like it. It's in Wauwatosa. Sometimes I go to Woodman's, but Woodman's always smells like weed. But Woodman's has got everything you could ever ask for.
Which Woodman's you go to?
Menominee Falls.
That's why.
What you mean that's why? That's the closest one to me. The other one is it one out by you out in Never Land out on the south?
Yes, it is, and I'm not saying where.
Why you think you high and mighty because you live out there with them folks?
I don't think I'm high and mighty. I gatekeep, just like you gatekeep. Where you eat at?
No.
I thought so.
That's different, Ricky.
It's not.
Yes, it is.
Where's the most expensive, nicest place you like to eat that got good food?
Moe's.
What's a place that you like to gatekeep?
No.
Yeah.
Let me tell you why. Because Denise was right. She got one thing right about me. She might be misguided about my love for her, but she got this one thing right. I'm a very private person, and sometimes I like to go places and just like duck off and just be left alone. And sometimes I might be doing something foul, and I don't want to get seen. Like this on Saturday, I was doing hood rat stuff.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
Yeah, so I don't want to tell people.
Where?
Well, I posted some pictures. So I discovered an area of the city I had heard of, but it's like I don't get to certain neighborhoods. So here's the thing about Milwaukee. Each neighborhood, I could spend a weekend in each of like 20 different neighborhoods and not even do all the things there are to do in that neighborhood. You can spend a whole weekend in River West. You can spend a weekend on the east side. You can spend a whole weekend in Bayview. You can spend a whole weekend, in certain downtown neighborhoods and not explore all that there is to offer. So I was on the east side. I went to the Milwaukee Film Festival, which I'm a supporter of and I'm a member. You should join too, mkefilm.org. They're having a documentary film series, so I went to see a documentary at the Oriental. Love the Oriental. I went to the Landmark. You got to go to the Landmark. When's the last time y'all been to the Landmark? They redid the Landmark. They replaced the carpet. It doesn't smell like spilled beer and despair anymore. They cleaned the Landmark up. And then there's a speakeasy called Shanghai. And it's in Black Cat Alley. I went there for the first time. And then I went to, it's a vegan restaurant called Strange Town. It's on Farwell. Delicious food. Really, really good. Now, they only open a couple of days a week because, vegan restaurants are usually run by white hippies that always talk to you like this. Like, hey, how are you, dude? Like, hey, what's going on? How are you feeling today? Like, what are you in the mood for? And they never have remember when servers had a notepad and they would write your order down? Like, you go to a vegan restaurant owned by white hippies, and it's like, no, I don't need a notepad. Like, what are you feeling? Are you feeling snacky, or what are you... do you want me to read these tarot cards, and we can maybe come up with a boutique menu for you? So Strange Town is like that, but the food was so good. We had this heirloom tomato flatbread that was 9.8 out of 10. And I had this walnut and shiitake mushroom blend, but they made it into a burger patty. And it was crispy. It was so good. It was delicious. So we had that. But yeah, I don't care about those places because those are not places that I'm a regular at. But if I find a new spot in the city, absolutely, I'm going to tell you all because I want Milwaukee to do well, and there's so many different little spots and venues. So I'm not trying to gatekeep those, but the places where I go to do hood rat things, I'll never tell you because the last thing I need is for y'all to show up when me and Zach are doing dirt. Let's talk to Adam. You're on 101.7 The Truth. How are you?
I'm great for an old guy. Yes, sir. You said something this morning about older people being skinny. Well, I'm not skinny. I've gotten fat in my old days.
You're not fat. How much do you weigh, Adam?
Yeah, 240.
Well, damn. How tall are you? Probably 6'8".
No, 5'8".
Uh-oh. Damn. Uh-oh, you a little thick, Adam. Adam, you thick now.
Yes, I am. I'm trying to lose it.
Good luck.
But, like, I hear people talking. I've been living here since the 60s. And I bought a house on 25th Street in between Locust and Hadley.
Oof.
And there was a tavern there. But when I first moved there, it was mostly white people. And then I bought another house on Fairmount. It was almost all white.
What in Fairmount?
I'm just looking at about 42nd and Fairmount.
That was almost the suburbs back in the day.
Yeah, it really was. I was about 70 when I bought that house.
Oh, that was all white folks. That's over by Custer High School.
Yeah, right by Custer. You're right. It was almost all white. Then you talk. See, sometimes you kind of get me upset a little bit. Sometimes you talk about. One time you're talking about qualified black people. I got one daughter that's a nurse practitioner. I got one daughter got a degree in some kind of degree she got because she done upset me. And I got another. My oldest daughter went to modeling school and she got called up to New York City. When it was time for her to go, she didn't go. And my son went high school, straight from high school, junior high school to the service because that's what he wanted to do. But the thing is that I wasn't privileged or anything, but I always had a decent job. Like I told you before, I'm a retired trucker, and I dropped out of school in the 10th grade.
What does any of that have to do with you getting upset with me? I think you just upset with me because you just grumpy.
Perhaps I am today, but you said what you said, though. You said some other things I can't think about them right now.
You can't think about what I said to get you grumpy. You just know that you just got mad at what I said, but don't know what it was.
I didn't get mad. I just got a little. I don't get mad.
You ain't get that upset if you don't remember, man.
Well, hell, I'm old. I just told you that before. I tell you, when you got my voice or that thing, like I told you, I'm 83 years old now. But sometimes my memory is not what it used to be.
Understood. All right.
Sometimes I forget. I'll be honest with you. Sometimes I forget my train of thought, and most of the time I'm okay though.
All right.
But and I live out here, and right now I live in a 55 and older building, and I love it. The only thing I got to do is pay my rent and my utility bills. I don't have to cut grass no more. I don't have to shovel snow anymore. I park on the ground, and I'm still driving. And the best restaurant, one of the best restaurants I've been to for enjoyment, I don't know if it's still downtown, Benihana.
What? Benihana. All right.
Benihana. You been to Benihana?
Yeah, man. I've been to Benihana, man. Yes.
I know you have.
Hold on a second. So you live in a 55 and older building, but you 83. Let me tell you something, Adam. You better leave them young gals alone. Some little hot little thing, 57 years old, wearing a little short little dress. You better leave that thing alone now, for she put it on you.
Oh, no, I got a lady.
Wait a minute. You got a lady? What her name is?
Yes, sir.
What she look like? How old is she?
You crazy. You want me to say something like, come on now, man. Give me a break.
She be coming over.
Bunch of them in this book.
I told you, leave them young things alone. Somebody 60 years old and come swinging that thing in front of your face. You better watch out now. Messing with them young gals.
There's a bunch of them in this building I could get, but I don't have no time for them. I don't know. Yeah, I got no time. And they got them all.
I gotta go.
They got
Adam.
them all. All right. Yeah. When I think about what get me upset, I'll talk to you later. Then.
I know you will.
Safe, guy.
All right then. He said, "I got all these women up in here swinging that thing in front of my face. Look, I got a 62-year-old little thing." You got to keep in mind, if there's a 62-year-old woman, Adam was 21 when she was born. That's crazy to think about. Like, that's a baby to him. All right, let's take a break, come back. Danny, we're going to talk to you on the other side. If you want to be like Adam or Danny, 833-212-1017, 833-212-1017. Two things I want to share with you before the show is over. It is all of the surrounding suburbs that have affordable housing developments, because a lot of people think it's just the city of Milwaukee where they're putting affordable housing. Not the case. But also, I'm glad that Adam called in, because senior living facilities are also considered low income, right? So do you think a senior living facility is also going to be crime-ridden? Because that's a low-income development. It might be. Adam might be in there stealing panties from them 62-year-old women. Yeah, I ain't got time to be with them all, but I bet you I'm going to steal some of these draws. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. Need a way to hype up your day?
Hey, is this Carolyn?
It is.
Congratulations, Carolyn. You just won this
Congratulations. Woo!
God is good all the time.
What would you do with $5,000?
I'm going to buy my nieces some school clothes because my nephew just passed away.
Oh.
So I'm going to get them some clothes.
Stay tuned into 101.7 The Truth for your chance to be entered into the Gruber Law Office's 5K giveaway. For contest rules, visit 1017thetruth.com.
Celebrate the reigning queens of disco with Disco Divas, running at the Bradley Symphony Center September 26th through the 28th. Principal Pops conductor Byron Stripling will lead the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra and an all-star trio of vocalists in all of your favorite hits from the disco era. Think Donna Summer, Patti LaBelle, Diana Ross, and Chaka Khan, as well as the Bee Gees, Earth, Wind & Fire, and even Michael Jackson. Those silky high strings and thumping bass lines will never sound better as you dance and sing along in your seat to tunes like I Will Survive, We Are Family, I'm Coming Out, and more. So what are you waiting for? Get those sequins out of storage and call the box office now at 414-291-7605 for Disco Divas, or visit mso.org.
Life's better with Drive My Way from American Family Insurance, because we know it's more than just a car. It's your escape pod, your adventure mobile, your memory maker. And we help protect the dreams that drive you. Personalize what you pay for auto insurance and you could save between 5 and 20%. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Unsafe driving behaviors may increase your rate. Visit amfam.com to learn more. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Ready to buy your first house, move into your forever home, or simply refinance? At Associated Bank, they've got you. With the right lending plan and guidance, you can achieve your dreams. Your financial goals are closer than you think, and Associated Bank is excited to help you reach them. To learn more about how you can take your first steps in buying your forever home, visit associatedbank.com/lending. That's associatedbank.com/lending. Or ask a banker for details. Subject to credit approval. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer. Our policy is to provide equal opportunity employment, development, and advancement to all current and potential teammates. If you are an organization that maintains a job bank, provides employment information, or gives job referrals, you may request to be placed on the station's mailing list for future career opportunities. To learn more about careers at Good Karma Brands, please email careers@goodkarmabrands.com.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
too hard.
A little Al B, sure. Is this Al B? Gotta bite that bottom lip when you're doing them 80s dance.
You ain't gonna hit it with the shoulder.
Wauwatosa, MSP Real Estate is building an 80-unit affordable housing development near Mayfair, subsidized by Milwaukee County. Units are income restricted to households earning 60% of median income. South Milwaukee, part of the county's $9 million investment, added new multifamily affordable housing, part of a 211 total units across multiple suburbs. Brown Deer, county-backed projects contributing to the 211 suburban units. Additionally, Jewish Family Services is developing a 56-unit affordable and supportive housing project in Brown Deer with 14 units reserved for people with disabilities. That's another thing. People with disabilities are sometimes included in those that will live in affordable housing. Do we think that they're criminals? Let's talk to a patiently waiting Danny. You're on 101.7 The Truth. How are you? Thank you for waiting.
Sherwin.
Danny. Hello.
Why y'all gatekeeping, man?
Because it ain't your business.
Show your
Nuh-uh.
Your black brothers and sisters where the good grocery stores are. Because I know that one that Ricky go to. I live in that area. I shop over there all the time.
I'm not going to gatekeep a grocery store. Go to whatever grocery store you want to. I'm talking about nighttime spots, man. I don't need y'all showing up there, taking pictures of me while I'm doing dirt.
Fair enough, but Ricky, it'd be a shame if somebody, went on Sherwin's page and spilled it to everybody.
Don't do that.
See a couple more black faces up in that store that we shall not name.
I like to do my shopping at nighttime at 1 in the morning.
I'll be there too. All the time.
Y'all have fun. Wherever it is, I ain't going shopping out there.
It'd be peaceful out there. Throwing your little pajamas and stuff.
See there? If you're going to live out there amongst the people, at least dress normal.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell nobody. I'm just I like the peace too.
That's all you called to say, Danny? You waited on hold for that long to say this?
Yeah, yeah. Usually y'all do y'all thing and talk and do whatever else, and it take a while. So.
All right, well, thank you, and good luck grocery shopping.
See you later, man.
All right, then, Danny, Danny over here talking to me like me and him go way back. I don't know.
Yeah, we go back, man. You know how we do it, man. We kick it,
Let's talk to someone that I know that you kick it with. Hi, Al. How are you? I know y'all be.
Well, hey, what's up? What's good? What's good? But I don't really kick it in the city like that. I'm always, on the highway going somewhere. But I got a quick question for you. First thing I want to say with affordable housing, it's cool until they get all them crumb snatchers with them checks and them people who ain't on the lease. The other thing is the management don't come down hard. So that's why a lot of people are not a fan because they don't enforce the standards. But moving forward, I got a question for you and Ricky today. I got 3 questions and I'm going to move fast. The first question is, would you share heaven with a racist or anybody who ain't no good from the womb to the tomb, who ain't never been good for sugar, honey, iced tea, alive or dead, and even when they dead, they still ain't good for sugar, honey, iced tea. Second question of part 1, do you think they fighting and tearing heaven down when all they have to do is submit their life to Christ and be allowed in to heaven? The second question is how do you feel about that Todd Holman stuff? Because you remember last week when you were talking about is it cool to talk to snakes? And some people felt it was okay to talk to snakes. Because you know how they got that rush off of it's cool to talk to snakes. And the last thing is I want to tell you is can't no crack addict, no drug head, nobody who got the free will who put drugs in their veins, nothing but a junkie from a womb to the tomb, face like sauerkraut, skin sound like an 82 Oldsmobile with a blown head gasket and a gone alternator with a power steering fluid, tell you about your damn health. And I'm going to hang up and listen to how you feel about that. And they skin look like fat from hog moths. Happy Monday. I'll hang up and listen.
Ricky, you want to go ahead and tackle that? You want to go?
He lost me when he moaned.
It came out of nowhere.
Was it a moan or was it like a sigh? What was it?
I don't know what it was.
I'm not redoing it, but Al, I want you to know that's definitely a high key.
Oh, I didn't really hear. He said something about a racist from the womb to the tomb, and then he said something about all they got to do is give their life to Christ, and then
the one question that I heard was, will we share a heaven with a racist? And then as I was listening, he moaned, and then I just lost it. I lost train of thought.
I guess that's not up to us who we share heaven with. Just like it's not really, you don't get to choose your neighbors, you know? They would be like, okay, Sherwin, all right, we got you on the list, so we got room for you, but you're gonna be up here with, with Charlie Kirk, and yeah, we let Adolf Hitler in, and Genghis Khan is up here, and like Joe McCarthy and Bull Connor. Like, yeah, do you want to come in or not? This is heaven now. We got room. We got a 2-bedroom flat for you, but you're gonna be up here with. I mean, Pac is here too. But like, do you want to come, or do you want to go down south where like the Kennedys are and Frank Sinatra and Sammy Davis Jr.? Like, do you want to? Where do you want to? Like, who do you want to be with? Can I do a month-to-month lease and just no? It's a permanent lease. I would go. I go to heaven. The food is probably way better, What are they serving? Hell, I bet. Probably deviled eggs. Boom, boom. That was a joke. All right, let's take a break. And I'm going to come back and tell you about a few other suburbs that have approved affordable housing units. And I'm sure there's been pushback from those residents. But to the best of my knowledge, there have not been any recalls of any local elected officials. And I've got affordable housing development information in Greenfield, Whitefish Bay, West Allis, Brookfield, and Brown Deer. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be back shortly.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Talk to these people in terms of, how do I register for this program despite my reservations and my previous experiences of rejection?
Yes, I tell anybody and everybody that you can buy a house. It may take somebody longer than the other person, depending on what your circumstances is with your credit and income and affordability, but you can purchase a house. The first step would be to register for our program. You can come to our office, 7830 West Burleigh Street, or you can give us a call at 414-461-6330, or just go onto our website, hri-wi.org. Register for the first-time home buyer education workshop. That's going to be your first step to home ownership. During that class, you're going to learn everything that you need to know from A to Z, how to get approved for a house, how to look for a house and put an accepted offer, and how to close on a home.
It's time for Truth Takes, a thought-provoking commentary on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth. Here is Tory Lowe with his truth.
It's official. July 5th is Tory Lowe Day in the city of Milwaukee and Milwaukee County. I am humbled to receive this proclamation from the mayor's office and the county executive's office. To me, this day represents life and purpose and being driven by passion to serve and empower others. It's about being unselfish and answering the call to help those in need and living life with intention. Despite challenges and obstacles, I remain focused on creating real change in my community, county, and state. This recognition isn't about me. It's about the collective efforts of those who supported me along the way. It's about the resilience and determination that defines my journey. As we celebrate this day, I want to leave you with a challenge. What will you do to create positive change in your community? Will you get out and volunteer, mentor, or simply be a support to a friend? Whatever it is, I urge you to take action. Together we can build a brighter future, one that's filled with hope, opportunity, and empowerment. I am honored to serve, and I am grateful for this recognition. Let's continue to uplift and support one another, striving for a better tomorrow. So what does Tory Low Day mean to me? Let's make a difference together. Let's stay committed to our purpose and keep pushing forward even in the face of adversity. I'm excited to see the impact we can make, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to serve alongside such an amazing community. Now, my question is, what does Tory Low Day mean to you?
This has been Truth Takes on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth. Listen to The Tory Low Show weekdays from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Our YouTube poll is evening out a little bit now. 55% of you do support low-income housing in your neighborhood or surrounding area. 45% of you do not, and 67% of you have cast votes so far. Low-income housing is housing for people with disabilities. Low-income housing is also senior living facilities, which Adam, who is 83 years old and, what do you say, 5'8", 240 pounds? Adam, a little thick now. He lives in a 55-plus senior living facility. So that's included in low income as well. So don't just think one-dimensionally about low income, that it's a bunch of people smoke crack. I mean, people with disabilities can smoke crack. Maybe that's their disability. I don't know. I'm not judging anybody. Much stuff as I see, as much stuff as I know what's going on, I don't judge anybody. Greenfield, a senior affordable complex, is planned to break ground soon. Whitefish Bay, one of the 3 new planned suburban projects proposed in Milwaukee County, getting financial support. West Allis, the landmark of West Allis, an affordable senior housing development for ages 62 plus. And Brookfield, which is technically Waukesha County but still in the metro area, the Foxbrook Senior Apartments, and one more HUD-listed affordable property, both serving seniors. So affordable housing is actually diverse in who it can offer lower housing options to. Okay, I want to share with you some demographic information that I think might be guiding the Trump administration in making some of the decisions, right? First, I want to give you the information, then I want to talk about how there's a shifting priority when it comes to vaccinations. All right, here we go. In the United States, for children ages 0 to 4, the demographic composition, so this is right now and projecting forward, the demographic composition mirrors the broader, so this is from 0 to 4, so babies. And I'm using the baby demographic first because they are revising vaccine guidance for children 0 to 4. Now, I don't know what the vaccine schedule is, but some babies start their vaccine regimen. I don't know which one goes first, but like it's 6 months. And then there's measles, mumps, rubella, and then there's a whole schedule of vaccines that we require children to get before they can attend public schools. In Wisconsin, some of you newer parents, you are much more familiar with this, right? There is a schedule, and it may vary by state, but I know in Wisconsin, your children cannot start public schools unless they have these vaccines by the age and the time they start school. So keep that in mind. So the demographics of young people, so 0 to 4, but then also this information I'm going to give you mimics the demographics of 0 to 17. So minors in the United States of America. Now remember, minors are what we call pre-reproductive age. Even though some of them do have children, if you have, let's say, a large population of youth in your country, Like there's some countries that are very young, where the majority of the people in those countries are under like 13 or under 14. Or in other cases, there are some countries where the majority of the youth are under like 10 years old, right? That means that as time goes on, more and more of those children as they age are going to be in what we call reproductive ages where they're going to be having children. So if you have a majority young population, your population is set to explode. If the majority of the people in your country are under 17 or if they're under 15, whatever their demographic is, there's going to be much more of that demographic because of the sheer number of them that have yet to enter dating age, marrying age, and reproductive age. Okay, keep this in mind. Here in America, this mimics children born to age 17. The majority of the children that will be born are 48% white. That's a very key number. That means that right now in America, ladies and gentlemen, the majority of children that exist in this country right now, some of which are not even at the age in which they will be having children, are 48% white. White children are the minority. 26% of the children in the United States between 0 and 17 are Hispanic. 14% of the children, the minors in America, 14% are black. Asian, 6%. American Indian, Alaska Natives, 0.8%. Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander, 0.3%, and then 2 or more races between 5 and 6%, meaning the majority of the children in America are racial minorities. Right now, I need you to understand these demographics, so this is guiding Trump policy. The majority of the children in this country, including those that are not yet having children, the majority are brown. The minority are white. So when you do something like shift, alter, or revise vaccine guidance, last week I talked about the most fundamental change you can see in American cemeteries, especially cemeteries where people were being buried like in the late and middle 1800s, where you would see a disproportionate number of birth year and death year being the same year, where a lot of children were dying. Or you'd have a child born in 1893 and on the tombstone it would say died 1895, or a child born in 1902 and then you see that their death was in 1905. You see a lot of children's headstones in those cemeteries from the early 20th century, late 19th century, until you had the invention of vaccines. Then children started to survive and people started living longer. If you want to attribute longer human longevity to a single thing, so it's obviously advancements in medicine, but the one thing that has extended our lifespan more than anything else are vaccines. You can disagree with that all you want to. You cannot believe that. That doesn't make it untrue. It just makes you a non-believer. But it is the absolute truth. It is an absolute fact. The way that we have used science and technology and applied it to medicine to lengthen people's lives, especially children. When you have the majority of children in the United States right now, 0 to 17, are majority children of color, and only 48% of the children in this country are white. When you revise vaccine guidance and you take certain vaccines off of the schedule, you are putting those children of color at health and medical risk. The biggest difference between those cemeteries that had a disproportionate number of dead children buried in them, between that era and eras after that, was the invention and the creation of modern vaccines. So if you are revising vaccine guidance, you are reverting back to an area where children die. Now, this makes no damn sense. Why would a country want to do this? Now I think you're starting to get the picture. Just like Barack Obama put so much of his political influence into making sure that people could get health care, because health care is the number one predictor. Now, there's other factors as well: your income, your level of education, where you live, the resources available where you live. There's a whole bunch of factors that contribute to longevity, but access to health care is chief among them. This administration is going to cut Medicaid. A lot of people that don't have a lot of income can qualify for health insurance. In fact, a lot of children, because we look at a child's poverty, we base our approval of benefits to people based on the children that they have and what their poverty rate is based on their children, because we don't want children to be poor. Well, because so many children live in poverty in this country, a lot of parents, grandparents, caretakers, and guardians qualify for Medicaid as an example. But if you cut Medicaid, and RFK is revising vaccine guidance for children, not only are less children, remember, these are children of color now, because the majority of the children in this country between the ages of 0 and 17 are black and brown children. They're going to be, the poor ones are going to be losing their health care, and they're not going to be getting vaccinated. I want you to think about what that is. I'm going to take a break, come back, and give you more detail. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. I'll be back in a couple minutes.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
This is 101.7 The Truth, Kyle Wallace, and the time is now, Milwaukee. Truth to Power is your platform, and on my show, our community always has a voice. There is no topic that is off limits, and I always give you my authentic opinions on how I feel, because keeping it real is the only way I know how to get down. Listen to Truth to Power with me, Kyle Wallace, every day from noon to 1 p.m. on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth app, and streaming live on YouTube at 101.7 The Truth. Milwaukee Black Talk.
This is Sherwin Hughes from 101.7 The Truth for Axe Housing. Are you tired of paying a landlord rent when you should be paying yourself? Do you want to leave a financial legacy, or would you like to have a stable place to call home? Well, it's time for you to start on the path to owning your own home instead of renting. You can work with an Axe Housing coach, and they will teach you how home ownership can be a reality. Axe Housing has helped over 4,000 families in our neighborhoods. Many times your mortgage will be a lot less than what you're paying for rent. As an average Axe family who has been helped pays around $900 per month. No matter what barriers you think you're facing, Axe Housing coaches can assist you right now. An Axe Housing coach will help you create and stick to a plan and a budget and get you ready for home ownership. If you're not dreaming of home ownership by now, you certainly should be. Let's make it a reality with Axe Housing. Get started on a virtual orientation by clicking on axhousing.org. That is ACTS housing.org. Don't let where you are financially right now get in the way of your very bright future of becoming a homeowner. Axe coaches are here to help.
Escape the city and relax at Lake Lawn Resort in beautiful Delavan, Wisconsin. Enjoy outdoor activities on Delavan Lake. Tee off at the lakeside Majestic Oaks Golf Course, or unwind at the award-winning Calidora Spa. With both indoor and outdoor pools, there's fun for the whole family. Take a cruise on the Lake Lawn Queen. Explore stunning shores and historic landmarks, and enjoy delicious food and drinks on board. Book your stay today at lakelawnresort.com, where everything is better at the lake.
Life's better with American Family Insurance, because we know you love working weekends. If it means working on your dream home, both inside and out. And we're here to help protect those dreams so you can enjoy peace of mind. Save up to 40% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Some exclusions apply. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
My name is Adrienne, and I was hurt in a car accident. What Gruber Law Office has done for me was made me feel safe. It didn't cost me anything, just one call, that's all.
Injured? Call Gruber Law Offices today. One call, that's all.
When you're high, you feel different. Pretty obvious, right? You think different, talk different, but if you feel different, you drive different. So if you're high, just don't drive. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Because Ricky and I are feeling generous today. Ricky, put your face on camera so people can look.
Absolutely not.
Don't you want them to see how generous you look? You got a generous look on your face. So we give away some tickets to go see the Disco Divas.
I'm not putting my face on, but yes, we can.
Byron Stripling, who is the conductor of the MSO, does a fantastic job. I've seen some of his productions before. The Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra is back for the 2025-2026 season as principal Pops conductor Byron Stripling opens the season with Disco Divas. Right now is your chance to win a pair of Disco Divas tickets live at the Bradley Symphony Center this Saturday, September 27th. Call us at 833-212-1017. We'll take caller number 5 at 833-212-1017. To win a pair of tickets to go see Disco Divas, you know the phone number. It's 833-212-1017. You'll win yourself a pair of tickets to see the Disco Divas, and then you can dance. Some of you Disco Divas are men. Ain't nothing wrong with it. This perfectly.
Are you a Disco Diva?
No.
Are you going?
Why don't you answer the phone and give us the winner of the Disco Divas? All right. So I was talking about the demographics of children. And so with Robert Kennedy, who you guys know is a notorious, well, he's a Kennedy, but he's also a vaccine skeptic. And so I just want to give you guys the details here. The measles, mumps, rubella, varicella vaccine with RFK, head of Health and Human Services, the combined MMRV shot is no longer recommended before the age of 4. Instead, children aged 12 to 47 months, so a year old to 4 years old, should get 2 separate shots, one for measles, mumps, rubella, and one for varicella, so which is chickenpox, by the way. There's a chickenpox vaccine. So for most of you, that doesn't sound like that big of a deal. But if you cut Medicaid and instead of the children getting vaccinated all at once for all of these preventable, communicable diseases, you're now scheduling these vaccines at 2 different times. The likelihood that children are going to get uniformly vaccinated goes down. Well, why is that a big deal? Well, the majority of the children that may not get these vaccines, because their Medicaid is going to get cut, because we know that that's an extension of DOGE, and also changing the vaccine guidance is either going to confuse parents or allow for more people to be skeptical of vaccines. Here's the thing. If you're an adult, be skeptical all you want to, because if your ass dies, ain't nothing we can do. You're an adult. You're grown. But when it comes to children, and we know that the invention and creation of vaccines has saved the lives of children, now that the United States of America is a nation where the majority of our children are children of color, now they want to confuse people when it comes to vaccines. And if you think that this administration is not looking at this data, if the majority of the kids in America were white, vaccines would be mandatory, required, and free at the age of 2 weeks old. But because there is no real motivation to have more Mexican kids and Puerto Rican kids and black kids getting their vaccine scheduled, because they're going to grow up and be Democrats, what you need them around for? Critics warn that this could confuse parents and lower uptake since the single shot option was easiest for families. About 15% of children currently use the combination shot. The Federal Vaccines for Children, or the VFC program, will still cover the MMRV for those who want it, but official CDC guidance no longer recommends it before the age of 4. So you know what that means? A lot of insurance companies get their guidance from the CDC. And if the CDC says, oh, no, it's optional, when they make these changes to the Affordable Care Act, and they're trying to, I'm going to talk more about that as we get closer to the September 30th government shutdown. I know this is going to be an unpopular thing for some of you, but I'm going to say it because it's where the Democrats can stand firm. I'm rooting for a government shutdown, and I think that the Republicans who are in control of the government are going to ultimately wear this and pay a political price for it, because it will be the Democrats that are going to cause the government shutdown. They need 60 votes in the U.S. Senate. They're not going to get it. They're not going to come close to it. because no Democrats are going to vote for what they call a clean continuing resolution to fund the government. Now, your Social Security payments will still go out. The VA is still going to be open. But if you are a federal government employee, your pay is going to be stalled. The last time we had a major government shutdown was when Trump was president again. But here's the reason why the Democrats are going to stand firm and allow the government to shut down. 24 million people will lose their health insurance with the budget that the Republicans are trying to approve, because it's a provision in the big, beautiful bill. The Democrats are saying, look, Trump, we're going to give you pretty much everything else that you want, everything else that you're asking for, but put the subsidies back in the Affordable Care Act. And by Trump removing, they expire basically New Year's Day 2026. So if you were getting affordable health insurance for yourself and your family, you're paying insurance based upon your income. If your income is low, if you're unemployed, your insurance rate is going to be set based upon your income. What Trump does in the big, beautiful bill is they allow your insurance companies to go back to what it was prior to the invention of the Affordable Care Act. And so the Democrats are like, look, you're not going to mess with people's Medicare, Medicaid, and the subsidies, and we're willing to shut down the government. And so the Republicans are going to have to explain why the government is shut down, because remember, they're still the ones in power. They still control the House, they control the Senate, and they have the White House, and dare I say they own the U.S. Supreme Court as well. And when the Republicans say, well, we want to take health care away from people, at the same time they're advising CDC guidance on vaccines, the Republicans are going to wear that, because I don't know if everybody is conscious of the fact that a good number of people depend on the Affordable Care Act and some of the changes that the Trump administration wants to make to that program simply because they don't like it because it's an Obama bill. That was an Obama piece of political theater. And they've been trying to get rid of it since John McCain was alive. So the government is likely going to be... I want it to shut down because I want the Democrats to stand firm on something. Now, there's going to be a little bit of pain, but just know that the pain that will be caused is because the Republicans are being intentional in wanting to take health care away from people in this country. And if the Democrats have to be participatory in a government shutdown to highlight that, I think ultimately the Republicans are going to pay a political price. And I'm glad the Democrats are standing up for something, because right now it just seems like they're sleepy. Speaking of which, where's Joe Biden? Thanks for listening. Have a great day. I'll see you next time.
Come in with straight truth.
Everything got a message. I'll say this. Y'all can't be